It's almost all over. After another very productive weekend, the champions are well clear and they're going to take some catching. Arsenal are beginning to look like the only team that can give them a run for their money. They've won their last 3, but they'll have to keep on winning in order to make a race of it, starting tonight at Upton Park. Gunners' current form is really good. Unbeaten in 7, 17 points from 21 available. Nobody has lost fewer games in the Premiership than Arsenal. Only 4. So they should be in good spirits. But, significantly, one notable absentee tonight. No Dennis Bergkamp, who's got a back injury and does not play tonight. It's Upton Park, and let's not forget this is an important night for the Hammers as well. Live from the FA Carling Premiership, it's West Ham against Arsenal. Yes, the Hammers are looking to qualify to play in Europe for the first time in 18 years, so the Gunners have got their work cut out here. And would you believe their playing record now is exactly the same as it was at this stage last season? So what have they learned, and what, Andy, have they got to add?
Well, they've got to win their big games. It was about this time last year, Richard, that they went in against Liverpool at home, Wimbledon at home and Manchester United at home. They lost all 3 games, and that virtually killed off Arsenal. Only took 21 points, I think, from the remaining, 39 that they had on offer. So they've got to win their big games, and that means, I think, they've got to win tonight. If you take it on average, that Manchester United might, over the season, lose maybe another 8 points. That would give them something like 80, 81 points. So if Arsenal, with a maximum, if they won all the games, could only get 86. So there's very little room for error for Arsenal, and that's what they're playing with. But I think it's a good idea. You know, I think they might well be, Arsene Wenger might well have said to himself, it's going to be second. I don't think we can catch Manchester United. But I think he'll use the chase to further that cause, and I think it'll be great for him to say, come on, we can get there, we can catch this team, and that'll just maybe increase their chances of finishing second.
Well, it was a very busy weekend for us. We were both at the bottom and the top, and we started, of course, at Stamford Bridge with the champions Saturday morning.
By Beckham. Oh, misjudged by Dubry. And Andy Cole's got a chance because of this. Well saved by Karen. Sheringham following up. And in the end, Buck was following up. Berg. Hanging on to Irwin. Sheringham. Going on to the centre, Cole, Sheringham now, Philip Neville, looking for his first goal for Manchester United, he's got it! In the shape of Dennis Wise, and Chelsea have got 5 players forward here. Petrescu! Didn't look at the other 4, but looked at the goal which Schmeichel guarded. For Sheringham, challenged by Frank de Boer. Beckham looking for Sheringham again. He looks for Butt.
And Super Sunday took us to White Hart Lane, a crucial match at the bottom between Spurs and Bolton, and they made a really lively start.
The problem here, and out came Bolton. Down went Holsworth, pursues the referee Peter Jones, and Bolton will maybe see been denied a penalty.
I don't know if it was in the box, but I think it's a free kick. It was right on the edge.
Pollock going in first. Oh, it looked as though that was contact there. Ginola didn't get his free kick. And Blake doesn't get his. Klinsmann, Bertie, this is Stephen Carr, Chris Armstrong. A swift move, but not a secure finish.
Lovely break.
Ginola. Here's Wilson. Nielsen wanting it played like that. It's still on Nielsen. Spurs have struck in the final minute of the first half. Klinsmann. Bertie. Fox turned nicely. Well, it was a venomous strike. Nielsen wider on the left now. Paginola. Opportunity for Tottenham here. Fox certainly played the ball.
Yeah, I thought so too. But Fox took the ball, you know, might not get away with it.
Franson. Desperate times for Bolton. Howells, but not far enough away. It's Per Franson. Oh, that's a terrific save by Bordson.
Biggest movers this weekend in the FA Carling Premiership. Significantly, Barnsley off the bottom for the first time in almost 3 months. Still in the drop zone, though, alongside Bolton and Crystal Palace, who hit rock bottom for the first time this season. Some daylight between them, Spurs and Everton, who are on 30 points apiece, but they've played a game more. Then come Wimbledon, Villa, Sheffield Wednesday, Newcastle and Southampton, who are in quite a run right now. No change, Coventry, West Ham, Leeds, Leicester, Derby County, all down a place. Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal up back into second, up 3 Blackburn Rovers, but Manchester United well clear. And we'll talk about the champions and the championship a little bit later, but first of all, Bolton at White Hart Lane. They did make a lively start. Were they unlucky as well not to get the penalty?
I think so. I thought so, yeah, on the day yesterday, Richard, and nothing has happened to change my mind. I think what's important about these games, you often talk about big games, 6-pointers, we talk about it at the top of the table, we talk about it at the bottom, and I think the difference being the first goal. Because if you're playing Manchester United, playing Chelsea or Liverpool or playing Arsenal, the first goal is important, but it doesn't decide a game often because people are confident enough in playing. What happens when you're struggling at the bottom? If you get the first goal, it immediately lifts you, gives you a huge injection of confidence. If you lose it, you go down. And I think this was the difference in this game yesterday. I think whoever scores first gets a great boost to their confidence, and the other team has got to chase it. But they were really unlucky. I mean, the penalty, I mean, I don't know whether the referee gets a good look at it, but as he comes in, Dean Holdsworth, I've said before, often when a front man gets through there and his next shot's going to be on goal, just say it there, takes his foot that he's going to stand on, and he goes down. And I've often said, you know, they never go down. I don't know a striker who would have gone down in that deliberately in that instance and deny himself the chance of scoring a goal. But the referee, whether he decided he didn't quite see the contact, he didn't give a free kick, so he obviously felt there was no contact whatsoever. OK, let's talk about Tottenham then, who, when they got into their stride, it took them 15-20 minutes or so, they did start to play a bit, didn't they? Yeah, the hard thing when you're down here is actually to express yourself as a football team. You're playing on your nerves, you're playing under fear, really, of losing the Premiership place. And it's hard to go out and express yourself for 90 minutes. But I did think Tottenham, when you forget, there's no Ferdinand, no Everson, no Anderton, people like Vega and Scales are not available. I'm talking half a team here. But I thought at times, Richard, they really did show some really decent football, quality football, confident football, and I think this only augurs well. I mean, breaks like this, they picked a very attacking team, but little gives and goes, it's good football, it's knocked in, he carries on running, Bertie's making a run here from midfield, and they pick out well. And what he does is, the first touch wasn't great there for Chris Armstrong, but that was about the first time in the match that they broke, and they broke well. That
was virtually the move that got them going, really.
Yes, it was. It was the first half. I mean, this is another lovely one. Foxy, who played all out. It's a little ball in, a little nick back. Look at his lovely pass and moving. He's just going to nick one in, and he's just going to go round the back and join in there again. I mean, that's lovely football. I mean, you don't do that if you can't play. I mean, all right, the shot gets blocked.
Klinsmann again, how many times did he have goal-scoring positions yesterday and wasn't found?
Well, maybe that's why his manager was indicating to David Ginola that he should not do so many difficult things and take the easy option. Again, Fox and Carr on this right-hand side. And it's a movement as well. They go across, they were prepared to go across. This was an area I thought they exploited pretty well. When you look at that huge gap between Neil Cox at right back here for Bolton, and Clive Wilson's just stepping in. But this is a lovely ball. And you look who's up, look at Fox, he's now come all the way across. Nielsen's in the box. I thought he was going to hit that now. Now he's set it up. Yeah. I think everything's there. Go on, hit it. Hit it straight at Klinsmann. He might just get a touch, but he takes the other touch. And by the end, he's closed down a bit. And I thought these were decent moves. I mean, Ginola, I mean, I know he won man of the match. I mean, I thought he was Effective.
Well, significantly, the vote went his favour.
It was
90%, which I don't think we've seen before. But Christian Gross did have a go at him. You're right.
He did. He maybe said a little bit easier play there, but again they got down that left side, and he picks out a great ball because he just holds his position. He's not going in here and getting attached to the defender. And what I talked about yesterday, Richard, the first touch, it's cushioned, and it just kills Andy Todd. He can't tackle him. He knows it's a penalty. All right, it's not the crispest shot in the world. It was effective, and it was a super goal. But they just showed me little glimpses, just like the ones I've shown you there, that suggest that there is quality in this Tottenham side. And if they can get out of this area that they're in now, this relegation zone, they might just be able to start to express that more often.
But did they owe, for all that, the win to their young goalkeeper?
Yes, of course they did. People laugh at you and you say saves mean goals at times, and this is a classic example. This is 1-1 if it's not for Espen Barson. Magnificent save, Richard. Because it sets it. Jimmy Phillips had hit one with his left just wide a little earlier, but look at that. It sets it out. It is wide of the post, actually. You know, you think it's heading out there somewhere, but look at it arc back in. Just the faintest of touches. That was a magnificent save.
And a young man with a lot of promise, it would have been.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I thought Ian Walker's had problems, personal goalkeeping problems and private problems this year, and it's been a tough season for Ian. And I think maybe the injuries will be a blessing in disguise for him to clear his head and come back. But I think this young lad, he showed us enough last year when he came in Ian's absence and played ever so well, particularly at Anfield. I can remember he played ever so well up there, and I think he's shown what a good goalkeeper he could be. Just
briefly, are they the more likely Spurs at the moment to stay out?
Of the two we saw yesterday? Yes, without a doubt. I think they've got more quality than Bolton. I think they're probably stronger defensively than Bolton, and that might just shift it their way.
West Ham and Arsenal tonight. We know that Dennis Bergkamp is missing for the Gunners. What else, George Gavin, have you got for us?
Yeah, it's a massive blow, isn't it, losing Dennis Bergkamp? When you realise that Ian Wright is also out, that's 28 goals between them this season that Arsenal are losing. But there are big problems as well for West Ham. They've lost their keeper, Craig Forrest, with a neck injury. That means a debut for the French international goalkeeper, Bernard Lemar. And also Rio Ferdinand, their young defender, is out with a calf injury. So problems for the Hammers as well. Let's look at them team first of all. And the French keeper Bernard Lemar gets his chance in goal after 11 games on the bench. Craig Forrest has a neck injury. Ludek Mikloško, an injured calf. Rio Ferdinand misses out. Tim Breaker comes in. Trevor Sinclair reclaims his place at the expense of John Moncur. Frank Lampard and Eyal Berkovic both have 8 goals this season. John Hartson plays his final game before suspension against his old club. He's on 20 goals so far. Not only is Harry Redknapp 51 today, it's Trevor Sinclair's 25th birthday. And on to Arsenal. Alex Meninga has 4 clean sheets in his 8 games so far. Matthew Upson keeps his place ahead of Nigel Winterburn, who's on the bench. David Platt is on 149 career league goals, including his spell in Italy. Mark Overmars returns after being on the bench last week, and Emmanuel Petit is also back in after recovering from bruised ribs. But with Bergkamp and Wright both missing, Arsenal look short of firepower up front. Richard.
So who's the more concerned or disappointed tonight? Arsenal that they don't have Bergkamp, or the Hammers that Ferdinand's missing?
I think Ferdinand's a blow, but I think when you look at their home record this season, West Ham, it's a positive one. It's been an attacking policy that Harry sent out at home. They've won 9 of the 11 league matches that they've played at Upton Park, which suggests that maybe the blow is Arsenal's. They've got to win the game, I feel, and I think with Wright already out for some time, to lose Bergkamp when he was just, I think, playing it back at his best again is a massive blow to them. I think that West Ham will absorb the loss of Ferdinand easier than Arsenal will Bergkamp.
Well, how many times have we said this recently? It's a must-win for the Gunners tonight at Upton Park, and West Ham will not roll over. Tuneful rendition, is it? But we've got the message. West Ham against Arsenal tonight. The weekend's goals when we come back, and Barnsley are flying right now.
Barnsley are in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup.
They put out cup favourites Man United.
A goal for Barnsley.
The cup dream lives on for the Yorkshire Heroes. Next stop,
Newcastle at St James's Park.
now they face another test of their cup-fighting spirit. Now they face a team that has sheer power, sheer speed, sheer strength, sheer earth.
This is sensational.
sensational!
Ford Cup Special, Newcastle versus Barnsley, Sunday at 4:30 live on Sky Sports 2.
Well, my life is worth nothing to some, while to others I am #1. I tell you, only the strongest will survive.
The world is rotating at over 1,000 miles per hour. In your lifetime, you'll travel over 650 million miles. It's a long journey, so travel light. Toffee Crisp. Delicious milk chocolate and caramel with a light, crispy centre that won't slow you down. So you can travel light.
She stepped away from me and she moved through the fair. And funny, I watched her go here and go there. Then she went her way homeward with one star away, as the swan in the evening moves over the lake. I dreamt she came to me, and this she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day.
As a young entrepreneur, this man had the knack of making the most of his money. 30 years later, he's giving you a tax-free opportunity to do the same with the Virgin Growth PEP. 0345 900 900. No tax. Just the same dodgy haircut.
There's more golf coming up this week from the European Tour. It's the Qatar Masters live from 10 o'clock on Thursday morning with extended highlights from 7 on Thursday evening. All that on Sky Sports 1. Where we are right now with the Monday Night Football. West Ham and Arsenal tonight at Upton Park. No concerns about the late night. The head-to-head, 83 games, 85, all in the top division. And Arsenal have won the last 5 league games, and of course they beat them in the League Cup at Upton Park earlier this season. The Hammers' last win 2 years ago, 1-0 at Highbury. Don Hutchison, the scorer there. Not often you see this, Andy. At Upton Park, Arsenal have the better overall record. They're unbeaten in 7. In fact, West Ham's last win 11 years ago, April '87. That is quite a record, isn't it?
It's amazing. Often you look at that, and there are some grounds that teams go to, though, and enjoy going there and playing there. It's evident from the stats we've seen there that Upton Park is
one for Arsenal. Well, let's talk about the weekend then.
Yeah.
Barnsley, as we said, off the bottom for the first time in nearly 3 months and in a good vein of form. Can they get out? Well,
I think of the 3 that are down there, Richard, the one A that's in form and B who's more likely to at the moment. They have got themselves together. I think I don't know what to make with Wimbledon. They've got 2 games in hand and everyone else around them, so I'm just assuming. I've never really considered that they were a threat going down, but they have only got the 32 points. But I just wonder if things like this now are going Barnsley's way. You know what's coming back here, you know what's going to happen. It's the ball in, Thatcher's just going to tuck it back in there. And this is a magnificent save. He gets a touch on it. Dave Walsh, look at that, across his goal, little touch. Now, I think a couple of months ago that they dropped down there and he'd have smashed it in the net.
Or gone straight in.
Or gone straight in. But it drops to one of the defenders and it's out. And they're level 0-0. And it just might be, we saw them enjoy a huge amount of luck in the cup tie against Manchester United. Not offside. It's a great little ball. Straight ball, diagonal run. Classic. And what a good finish.
Very good finisher.
Excellent. Keeper comes out. Couldn't score anywhere else. He couldn't hit that long a ground and score. But Sullivan had gone to ground a little down. This is the moment that, well, Joe Kinnear certainly thought this was a free kick. You can see why. Sullivan comes out, and if I stop that there, he's got the ball. He's collected it. It's in his arms.
Is it a free kick for you,
there's then contact. Well,
there's a wisp of a lad at Marcel, isn't it?
I think when that happens, and there's contact like that, and then there's a goal immediately like that, I think that it wouldn't have surprised me if a free kick had been given. But there is contact in the game. It is a contact sport. And I think that could have gone either way, that decision. I really do. But again, it's another decision that's Barnsley suddenly is going their way. This super ball in. But here's what you talk about. The spread they get. One going in near post, one going in middle, one coming in back post. That is a great spread across the face of a goal to attack it. Fantastic.
But you're not thinking about Wimbledon going. Palace, you have to be. Are they sunk yet?
Well, they're not sunk yet, simply because they can get out of it. What would worry you? Steve Copeland or whoever's in charge of Palace, I'm not quite sure who's going to be manager from now on, or coach. But I think the form they're in and the players they're without suggest that it's going to be an enormous, enormous job for them to get out. And I think, I mean, Coventry love going to Selhurst Park.
Not half.
I bet they wish they play all their games there. Whether it's Wimbledon or whether it's Crystal Palace that you play here, it's unbelievable. They just seem to do so well. But they haven't defended well here, Richard, the goals. I mean, it's a great run from Huckabee, turns him inside out. But the ball, when it comes in, I mean, if you stop that there, I would think normally Dean Gordon cushions it down. Look at this. He's got 4 players here he could just pop it off to. But when things are not going your way...
And that's the first minute. You don't need that.
No, you don't. That's why I talked about, if you're down there and you get first goal, about the Bolton thing, had they got the penalty and gone one up against Spurs. You know, this is, well, Whelan, so close, great effort. But you just think, Palace, have they got enough to dig their way out? Are they going to get enough players back? Look at this again, look at that. I mean, I know centre-back's been dragged out, but look at the space in between them there that he's just gone into. It's a cool finish, excellent finish. Places it, that's an excellent finish. Quite like to look at this guy, Moldovan. He looks like a finisher to me. You've obviously seen more of him.
Well, Ramon Vega is of that opinion. He played with him at Grasshoppers, that's what he said, yeah.
Yeah, I think he looks a finisher to me. And of course, Coventry now are so confident anyway. This is tough. I think he does everything right up till then, steadies it, and you think, well, that's a goal, isn't it? You can't miss. Yes, he can.
You can.
Oh, God. I mean, he did everything so well. Set it up, just didn't finish it. And of course, it wouldn't be the same in a Coventry match without a set piece.
But they work harder.
And Dion, and that's excellent. That's good management. You know, Gordon, I'm sure, well, I know that Gordon Strachan spends hours in the training ground working set pieces, free kicks and corners, and it is no coincidence, in my opinion, the amount of joy they get from
And you've got to be delighted for the little fellow who's worked hard and seems to be getting some reward now as well.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Gordon Strachan. As a footballer, he gave it everything. Good, bad or indifferent performances from Gordon. You knew what you were getting from him every time he pulled a shirt on, and that was everything he had to offer. And it now looks like he's taken that attitude into management, and he's given management everything he's got to offer.
Off to Goodison then. Everton and Newcastle United. No Duncan Ferguson for Everton, and did they miss him?
Well, they're going to miss him. It's the first match, I think, of a 3-match ban that Duncan Ferguson's on. So these are big moments for Everton because they, like 30 points, have got a bit of work to do. And they would have liked Duncan Ferguson. We saw him play at Anfield in that match against Liverpool, and he played magnificent. He was man of the match, and suddenly to not have that for 3 games is a huge blow. But I think they'd be fairly happy with a point. I mean, home games, I think you need to win, Richard. And I mean, here, if I was to say to you, go on then, Keith Gillespie, 9 times out of 10, put you in that position, it would just be... That would probably
it's always easier from here, isn't it?
Oh, hey, I'd never missed a chance from here, yeah. I mean, I'd have been Alan Shearer, 15 million if he'd been playing now. But, I mean, he kept going, playing right on the line. I think he's onside, Alan. Across the goal, he's a bit unlucky. Just neither the save nor the post could help him. But I think this is I mean, I think this would have been set up. I didn't suggest to me there was lots of goals in this game before the match. It seems a bit open, just failing to hit the target early on. But I think that Everton would probably be, well, they would want to win their home games. but I don't think they would be too disappointed because they would have known that this was Newcastle.
It's a question really of getting through
down.
this period unscathed without Ferguson, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they need him. They need him back. They don't have anyone in the ranks who's anything like Duncan Ferguson, with stature, with threats. I mean, but they got away with it, and there were enough chances there from Newcastle to suggest that they might even have lost the game.
And they will be thinking about the FA Cup, presumably, Newcastle.
Well, I'm pretty sure they will be. I think that Kenny will obviously tell us every time we speak to him that no, Europe and the league is still a priority, and of course it is, because that's the way you should face every league match. But there's no doubt that their eggs are in the one basket, and that's the FA Cup basket at the moment.
Somebody else with Europe on their minds right now is Southampton. What a run they're in, off to Elland Road.
A great run.
Another win.
Great victory. But I have to say, Leeds are probably in the poorest run of form they've been in for most of the season. George Graham's side, and although we saw them play very, very well at St James's, the run that they're in isn't a great one. They've stuttered a bit. Little things like this. I mean, Ronnie Wallace hasn't scored all the goals he's got this season by looking for a pass, but you just think anything across the face for Hopkin, who's made up acres to get up with him. But another day, you know, that was flying for Leeds when they're going well. But Carlton Palmer, I don't know, every time we see him go to Elland Road, he seems to end up getting sent off.
I'm sure we saw him sent off playing for Leeds at some stage last season, didn't we? And controversially as well.
They're two tackles, and I mean, they're not sinister, Richard. They're not high. They're not clubbing people. We're sliding in, trying to retrieve one there. I think the referee took a good, long, hard look at that. He seemed to take an awful lot of time before he made up his mind that the book was coming up.
Think maybe the crowd influenced that?
Who knows? Who knows? But I mean, it was certainly worthy of a booking. But here, Nigel Martyn doesn't. I mean, you can see he's decided I'm going to get there, but he doesn't quite make it. He's what? Yeah, about a foot away. But watch the skill from Washington here. I don't know if you can quite see it. The little drag back there.
Brilliant.
Super.
Brilliant.
But then he gets lucky because I think he's going for goal here. But David Hurst just puts the finishing touches to it. And, I suppose the skill deserved that little bit of luck. And the tackle, well, I mean, I'll slow this down because it is late, and look at them. There's not. I mean, if I stop that there, this is a race, isn't it, for the ball?
It's one that Palmer would want to.
You know, and they go in.
Get amongst,
he goes to ground. He does catch Gary Kelly a little, and I think, you know, that's one of those that looks worse than it is. But it's a yellow card, and Carlton doesn't even wait. And off he is.
No need to wait in those circumstances.
No need to wait, and that was it. But that was a super result for Dave Jones, and he's done a wonderful job for Southampton.
Another Scotsman who will also be thinking about winning the FA Cup, perhaps, George Graham?
Yes, George has always liked winning a cup, whether it was Coca-Cola or FA Cup or Arsenal. Yes, I think, but I do think teams like Newcastle and Leeds, Richard, are still looking for that 6th place. I think the top 5, I think maybe Manchester United are looking for the title. I think the next 4, I've got visions of finishing 2nd, and I think probably the next 5, I've got visions of that last 6th spot, and it might guarantee Europe.
6th right now, Derby County, of course. They've had a tremendous season, haven't they?
They've been absolutely sensational. When we talked about some of the pitches that are around now, but when you look at Pride Park and you see the grass, look at that. That looks like a summer's day. But watch it. It's the football, Richard, that I've been impressed with.
Well, they use it to good effect, don't they?
Ah, super here. And I've made my mind up about one chop finally. I know what he's doing. He's scoring goals.
15 of them, yes.
Look at that. But he slid that through. Now, and he gets in the touch, and I think, well, if I was to stop that there, I think, well, he can't score. He's getting closed down. Goalkeeper, maybe he's just edged a little touch too far left. But again, it's that old favourite of mine, across the goalkeeper, gives you a chance. That was a fine.
So you like the look of him?
I do. I think he's got better and better as the season's gone on, Richard. But I think they've all played well. Baiano here, look at that for an effort. And I think Iranio as well. I think, you know, he's played ever so well for them, and I think he was exceptional in this game. And they really could have won this by more than the score they did. I mean, for Big Ron, it's a case of surviving and, you know, keeping it there, and I think building for next season. But Jim Smith must be thinking, I can't believe what this team are doing. So they're so cavalier. Yes, you know, Paulo Di Canio, free kick from Scotland.
They have their own way of playing, Derby, don't they?
Yeah, but it's like this. It's Iranio, I've circled him, it's Burton. Watch the movement here, the passing. Now watch this, the one touch. Now watch Burton, the little crossover, the flick. Look at the way they've opened them up here. I mean, that doesn't just happen. Super running off the ball and one touch passing. And then in he comes again. What a good finish. What a good finish. No wonder Jim Smith's saying that he doesn't think he can keep him. It would be a shame.
I think he's saying he's never worked with one like him previously.
Well, it'd be a shame to lose him, wouldn't it? Well, maybe we won't lose him. Maybe someday, if he's going to lose him, it might be to the Premiership. And then Rowett again coming in. Good strike. You know, and I think Derby, every time we've seen Derby play this year, they've entertained, they've looked to entertain, they've been maybe a touch cavalier at times, but Jim has got this system that his players are happy with and enjoy playing to.
All eyes on Villa Park this weekend. John Gregory and Stan Collymore. Liverpool, of course, the visitors, and Villa head out.
Well, I think this is a kind of game that John Gregory would have liked. I mean, I think when a new man goes in, it makes it easy. I mean, you look at Gianluca Vialli when he took over a couple of weeks ago. The first game was against Arsenal in the cup tie. They were all up for it. Everyone was flying around. They've lost their next 2 league games. So I think John Gregory would have expected a good performance. And I think he would have been disappointed had he not got it and not beat. But what I think, I mean, when you see Stan Collymore perform like this, when we sat here before the Manchester United game, I mean, this is the first instance. Roy Evans is saying, should he go off here, deal with this first. I think as Bosnich comes out, I think the only thing I will say, that I think the defender's pretty close. I think he's pretty close there. And I think that Michael Owen has played the ball into that kind of area, away slightly from goal. Now,
but only with the intention of heading for goal, ultimately.
Yes,
sure.
Ultimately, but then again, are we saying that he would not have got round?
Well,
that's
could have gone either way, couldn't it?
Split second. I think it could have gone either way. I would agree with that. So I don't think there's... I mean, I think it's one you have to accept could have gone either way. I think with the referee, Graham Poll, the surprise is it doesn't go the other way, because you know, he does like pulling his card out occasionally, as we saw it at Chelsea recently when he booked 10 of them. So I think in this case, I think, you know, he gave the goalkeeper the benefit of the doubt, and I don't think there's an awful lot wrong, because that's punishment.
Good penalty as well.
Great penalty. That's punishment. We mentioned Stan Collymore, and they needed a little bit of luck, Villa, to get into it, and this is the little bit of luck they've needed. I mean, whether the shot's gone in doesn't matter. The fact is, I think it's Rob Jones that hits, and Brad Friedel is left absolutely helpless.
What you were going to say was, why has he not been doing this more often? Is it? And could John Gregory have expected this from Collymore on the day?
Well, he could have expected it, because everyone knows he's got it in his locker. The thing is, it's been in his locker most of the season, and he's only unleashed it against his old club yesterday. He's awesome when he's like that. He's one of the most powerful. I mean, I can relate him to Cyril Regis in my day, who was frightening. What an effort that was. He was absolutely frightening when he got turned and running at people. And Stan Collymore's the nearest I've seen in situations like this. He's just sometimes unstoppable. Villa went in very positive. They went in with the 3, Richard. They went in with York and Joachim up front with Collymore. And it was a bold approach, and they tore into them. This is Julian Joachim, good save from the keeper. But it is when he's in form like this, and that's why people ask the question. Ian Taylor, who I think's been a shining light this season, going through here, great run from midfield, not tracked, happens often. And again, you know, when you work hard and you get that, that's going to do that. When you're not working hard, it might have come back this way or it might have come back that way. But because he's put it in and he's worked his stripe off in this game, he gets a little bit of luck twice, and that's important. But it was his overall performance. It wasn't just that. I mean, things like this that Villa fans haven't seen enough of.
Chasing, harrying.
Working. The thing is working, Richard, and when he does it, as we've said and we'll continue to say, no one will ever question his ability. No one. Certainly not me. He's got more ability in his right leg than I had in my whole body. But the only thing that's been questioned has been his attitude and his work rate. Now, John Gregory has come out today and said that was a performance of a man worth more than 7 million. I would agree with that. And what he's also said, which is absolutely what I've been saying all the time, is he doesn't expect that level of performance from Stan. He expects that level of work rate from Stan.
Again and again.
And again. Now, he might not get 10 performances like that, but he must get 10 performances of that work rate. And if he does that, he'll be a
Sorry, what about Liverpool, who haven't won now in 5?
Yeah.
Is that all over for them now as far as the title's concerned?
I don't think they can win the title.
So it's second place, is it?
Yes, I think they're playing for second place. I don't think anyone else can win the title. Maybe Blackburn, and Blackburn are the only other team apart from Arsenal that I could think. But I think Liverpool, from now to the end of the season, Richard, are playing for second.
And Arsenal right now are looking at second place with a point here tonight. They are the closest challengers. It's Upton Park for them. West Ham United against the Gunners, live on the Monday Night Football. Blackburn steady. Blackburn Rovers, you mentioned, they are second right now. And there was a message from Chris Sutton at the weekend for Glenn Hoddle. How about this? 3 more for Sutton.
anybody see that light?
The man's inebriated.
They say we use 10% of our brain.
I would love to get my hands on your carburetor.
George Malley
The está um menino.
just got to use the other 90%.
You learned the Portuguese language in 20 minutes?
Not all of it.
I want him tested.
I get 1,000 ideas a day.
He is considered a security risk.
It's a goddamn mistake is what it is. We're supposed to have someone smart.
John Travolta, the mega movie premiere of Phenomenon, coming soon on Sky Movies Screen 1.
Wilkinson Sword FX Performer. A razor that's designed to flex, so it gently hugs your face and shaves you close. Fresh thinking from Wilkinson Sword. The feel of smart design.
Eurostar, the cross-channel passenger service, has unveiled a new high-speed rail link which will significantly reduce the journey time between London and Brussels. A spokesperson from Eurostar said business passengers can now reach the centre of Brussels in just 2 hours, 40 minutes, an improvement of over half an hour on the previous journey.
The Dean of St Dunstan's now deals with all his bills by direct debit, and so can dedicate more time to the devoted.
Drinks are on me!
Nominated for 9 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, Good Will Hunting is one of those films you'll want everyone you know to see.
This boy's genius is unparalleled. They need someone who can get through to it, like me.
Combining the inspirational quality of Dead Poets Society.
He's perfect right now, and I don't want to ruin that. Maybe you're perfect right now. Maybe you don't want to ruin that.
Because I'd do anything to have what you got.
Robin Williams' performance is a joy to watch.
In your heart, son, you'll be fine. You are bound by nothing.
Good Will Hunting.
Delicious Whisper chocolate with a layer of golden caramel. Whisper Gold. My Whisper Gold. You're not getting this one.
Dinner tonight?
We have the soil. We have the vines. We make great wine. So what do people drink? 1664.
Kronenberg 1664 is the best-loved premium beer in France.
Oops.
6 men with nothing to lose and nothing to hide.
Strippers, you.
The Full Monty. Buy the video now.
Okay, now, whoa! I will survive. As long as I've had Weetabix, I might just stay alive. I've got a safari park to do, an alligator with the flu, but I'll survive.
Have you had your Weetabix?
Fiat dealers have 0% finance on the 3-door Fiat Bravo with only a 20% deposit. Call 0800 717 7000 for more information.
It's the FA Cup again this weekend. We're off to St James's Park on Sunday, 4:30, Sky Sports 2. Newcastle United against Barnsley. Of course, dumped Manchester United out in the last round. Tonight, it's the Carling Premiership. West Ham against Arsenal from Upton Park. That's the back of, Andy. I know you can instantly recognise him. Nicholas Anelka. 2 goals in 4 games now. Is he beginning to settle to life in the Premiership?
What people have to remember, Richard, it does take time. If you're coming from abroad to play in this league, even the best players sometimes take time. They sometimes don't settle as quickly as they might. It did take Dennis Bergkamp some time to settle. He didn't do it immediately. I think what we're seeing here is an 18-year-old lad. And we must remember that. I mean, he looks a lot older because his size, his physique. But he's only 18 years of age. He's got undoubted talent. He's quick, he's mobile. The one thing the question that will be answered next season is mentally how strong he is, because he's gone through now 10 games in a row. That'll do him the power of good. He'll be playing week in, week out. I know they're missing Wrighty, but for that young lad, that would be great for him. Confidence, and that can only grow with that. He can score goals, but again, next year, I think if he plays more, we'll see how strong he is mentally to cope with life at this level.
Bookies fancy a winner tonight, but they're not quite sure who is going to win. West Ham 6-4, 6-4 the Gunners, and 11-5 for the draw. First goal, John Hartson at 92. 19 of his 25 for the Hammers have come at Upton Park. Only 1 in the last 10, though. Sinclair, good start for West Ham, 3-3 at 7-1 tonight. Anelka 8-1, Overmars 9-1, Berkovic 10-1. If you've just turned on, wondering about Bergkamp, doesn't start tonight. David Platt needs 101 for 150 career goals. What about the outsiders? Lazaridis, Dixon, Pearce.
Yeah, I think the ball had their goals for the season.
Right. Blackburn and Leicester then, talking about second place. I mean, you haven't ruled Blackburn out, but second's more likely, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't ruled them out, Richard. They can get 81 points. If they were to win every single game, they can get 81 points. That's going to be touch and go, I think, because I don't think Manchester United are going to lose too many more points than that. So they would need to win every single game from now on in to give themselves a chance. But I think Roy Hodgson, who's had a great season, done a remarkable job there in his first season back, will be aiming for second. But
it was 5-0 up.
Yeah, like 5-0 up, but should it have been? I mean, they won't be disappointed. Leicester, before this game, one of the best defences in the league, only second to Manchester United, but they get caught. Amy and Duff a little bit open. This is a good hit. I'll tell you what his worry is, when it's up that high, he's thinking, Richard, he wants it to drop, but he's worried in case he gets pressed from somewhere and he can't hit it. So he hits it when it's high, and that was a great strike, because he took it early. But they won't be happy with the defending, I don't think, in general, because Leicester have shown us they're better than this.
Lovely touch from Sutton as well.
Right. Now here's the first thing. I want you to ask, there's a question for people at home. What is the difference between this goal, the header's there, the hand's got for offside, you can see Fenton going through here is not offside. He's coming back. That's the player who's involved. Now look, has he shown you an interest other than coming back there? Is there anything else in his mind?
I can't answer your question at this point. I know what you're going to ask.
Right, so that he goes through. Well, and he goes. In my opinion, I think that should be 1-0.
Yes.
Right?
I think everybody's.
That's flagged offside, disallowed. Graham Fenton back at Blackburn. But here again, they won't be happy. They get people in the box, but just look how much Chris Sutton's got. Great little flick. Too much space. Just getting a little stretched. Leicester at the time. And, you know, when you see things like that, you know, you as an Englishman and people watching at home, you're thinking of the summer. Again, a lot of space, but what a turning hit. You'd rather be taking that with you.
No Fowler, no Ferdinand.
No Wright.
No Wright.
All out injured.
Is he going to surprise us and call Sutton up?
Well, I don't know. There would have to be a few phone calls between the two, I think, beforehand. I mean, this might get a little nick, but it's a lovely little flighted goal. Super finish. Super finish. And then Colin Henry, who missed that crucial penalty in the FA Cup.
Yes, he enjoyed this, didn't he?
He smashes that one in. I don't know if he enjoyed it. He almost looks...
Mr. Blackburn.
But there we go. Here, the question, remember the goal that was disallowed? Right, now, what is the difference between that one, Richard? Now,
and this one.
This player again, I think it's Emile Heskey again, coming back out of the danger area. I think this is even worse because this ball is aimed actually towards him. And it's a lot closer to him this time than it was in the first half. Players coming through the back there and making the run in there, Stuart Wilson. So what's the difference?
Well, there really isn't one, is there? Apart from the fact that it's at the other end, which means there's another linesman on it.
Yeah, you know, it's little things like that. We talk about consistency, trying to get officials to be consistent, that annoy the professionals, the players. Because we're talking 1-1 here, and the next minute they're 5-0.
A team that came into this unbeaten in 7 as well,
Correct.
Leicester.
So you never know. This is a good heading, was he, is it? And you just don't know whether Blackburn took the foot off the throttle a little bit. Good to see Robert Otterthorne back. We were there when he made his debut in that horrific ankle injury. Dislocated and broke it, I think he did, in his first game, but he's now back. What a good strike that was.
Maybe the Footballers' Football Show tomorrow, incidentally, with 3 referees on board tomorrow. Maybe they will be able to answer some of your questions.
Glad
That's
I'm
worth
not
watching tomorrow. It's a pity you're not, actually.
Oh, no.
Right, let's go all the way back to where we started. Chelsea and Manchester United at Stamford Bridge on Saturday morning. United devastating again, although it wasn't the best performance. Did what they had to, didn't they?
I mean, we saw them irresistible in the FA Cup at the beginning of January, where they gave as good a performance, I think I said on the day, that I can remember seeing from a British side for some time. And they were just unstoppable. The difference was on Saturday morning, they were professional.
Job done.
They set the stall out not to lose. It was almost like a European thing. and they set the start. And I remember saying after half an hour, well, it's a bit like watching them in Europe, because they've just sat back, and then what they usually do in Europe is up the tempo a bit. And this is what they do, but, you know, they'll be a little disappointed, Chelsea, because Phil Neville will circle them here and just follow him. It takes nothing to do with it. He makes a great run, but Chelsea will be disappointed that no one has actually tracked him. You know, midfield players, they just get caught. I mean, Roberto Di Matteo's coming past him, and he's going to come past into this area here. And Phil Neville's just going to nick in behind him. But it's a super run from him, and a lovely football. There he goes, he's just nipping in behind him. The three midfield players of Chelsea have just been dragged into that little area.
Sharing him off nicely, yeah.
Lovely little touch there. I think he's looking for Neville there. But then it's through there, and he plays it, and we're talking, was he offside? I've often said sometimes the linesman, if he's not in line, it might look offside. Certainly didn't look offside from where I was. And we can see there the linesman, perfect position, looking right across the line. He's level, he's onside, and he was allowed to go on. And I tell you what, for a guy who's never scored, what a finish. What a finish.
I thought it was quite funny when he said he didn't know what to do when he scored. It never happened previously.
Never had done, and that was a super. Just watch the way he controls it. He hits it smack on the half volley, Richard, lets it drop, hits it. Oh. You could put him in that position, another 20 times and he wouldn't find that bottom corner.
That's why he'll be 33-1 again the next time we see him with the first goal. What about tonight? No Bergkamp, no Wright. What have we got here? West Ham and Arsenal. How will Arsenal go in?
Well, Arsenal, I think, well, we don't know how they'll go in, but I think what was happening with the League Cup tie the last time they played was a factor. Whether they've won at Arsenal, they've won at Upton Park, the last 3 or 4 times, and I think that's going to be
But this is different tonight. Let's have a look at this.
Well, we don't know what Arsenal... The thing about not having Bergkamp on the side is who plays up front. They haven't got Wright. I think that what we can see, we know what we'll get from West Ham. We'll get that system where they have the two wing-backs, the 2 central midfield players, Berkovic floating about in here. And I think even Sinclair maybe... I don't think Trevor Sinclair maybe plays up front in the way that Paul Kitson would do. You might even see Sinclair play off the front. And we don't... Arsenal, they're going to have Upson here. I assume left-back. I know he's a centre-back as well, but I'm assuming he's going to play at left-back, Richard, and they're going to go in with that very familiar back four that they like so much. But up ahead of that, what will they do? Well, let's just say Anelka's going to play up front. And what they might do, because they're playing up against 3, is say, OK, well, let's try and give them a problem. They might even play Overmars and Platt in these kind of areas. Good goal-scoring players, can get forward. David Platt, he's done it all his career. Overmars has already scored 3 times against West Ham this year, so I think it'll be important to try and get him in there. And then they'll go with Hughes, Vieira and Petit. Now that's almost like a Christmas tree. Terry Venables' old Christmas tree. And I think in an attacking sense they might do that and say, you 3 be the attack. And then we'll supplement it by these 3 here. And I think Hughes of these 3 will get forward a lot more. The other thing they could do is simply go 4-4-2. They could play Platt there on the right-hand side, although it's not natural for David to be there.
I think in the last game he was up top, wasn't he?
Well, he might, yeah, but that's what I'm saying, that's why he might play in there. But I think he could play him there, and he could play Hughes here, who's another left-sided player, a left-footed player. But again, that's not natural to him. And he could play Overmars up front with Anelka, because he's no stranger to that. But I just got a funny feeling they might just try something a little bit different, because they know this middle area is important to them. I think they'll be happy to let the ball go in wide areas, because Hartson, although he's up front there, I've got him on his own, I think with Keown and Adams, they'll feel pretty confident that any balls tossed in from, they should be able to deal with them. Where they'll be more concerned is little balls being fed into these 2.
So this is the crucial area.
I think this is a key area, because depending on how Berkovic and Sinclair influence the game, could depend on how well Arsenal do. And then again, dependent on how these 2, if they play in this kind of area that I'm suggesting they might attract them in here to leave little gaps for that. You know, I think this is going to be a fascinating area of the football pitch tonight.
Yeah, and you talk about John Hartson. Doesn't play in the cup game of the weekend. No. Will he want to prove something tonight?
Oh, I think having missed the penalty in the cup tie, I think he'll desperately want to prove. I mean, he's gone on record as saying that he didn't enjoy the penalty and it absolutely destroyed him. And I think that was the case. But what we see here, I think what's been noticeable about West Ham is the fact that the football they've played, the amount of times that they break attacks down, particularly at home, and they don't just smash it up the pitch. You know, they're quite happy, they'll play it. This is what I mean about, I think, that area just behind John Hartson, where they'll try and get people like Sinclair and I think and Berkovic to turn and to run at Bold, and at Bold, at Adams and Keown. I think that's what might be it. But I'm going to show you something in a minute that not many people at home will realise about John Hartson. I mean, these kind of areas, I think that, although they don't deal with it here at Aston Villa, I think Arsene Wenger would expect his centre-backs to deal with that kind of ball.
Yes.
And that's why I think they might let it go. I mean, here, all right, they'll miss Ferdinand because of this type of thing. Cool defending and playing it out. You know, but these are the kind of areas that I expect them to get the ball in, West Ham. The kind of wide-ish areas. And quite deep.
They do play a bit, don't they?
But they do play a bit.
Through him.
This is where they won. I mean, it's a smash and goal. But here's a quiz question for people at home. What is special about this goal from John Hartson?
Did I get it right earlier on?
You got it right.
The answer being?
It's his only headed goal in the Premiership this season.
Which is extraordinary.
Absolutely extraordinary.
What about this fella here? He spent a few bob again on Trevor Sinclair. Goodbye.
Oh yes, I've been a big admirer of Trevor Sinclair since he burst onto the scene, Richard, at Queen's Park Rangers. And he's had a couple of injuries, and he had a bad one, I think, at the beginning of the season. I think it was an astute and clever buy of Harry Redknapp to get this lad in. I think he's got talent.
Well, this was a player who a couple of seasons back was £5 million worth.
Correct.
Allegedly.
Correct. But I mean, when he does things like this is what I mean. See the kind of areas just a little bit deeper off the front to turn and run at people. That's why I don't think he might play up front with Hartson. I think him and Berkovic might play off. And getting Tan, look at the two of them here against Bolton. This sort of thing.
They're virtually impossible to stop like this, aren't they?
Oh, well, if you give them this space, they'll make these kind of runs. And look at this for a calm finish. I mean, I think that Arsenal try and keep it tight early on, but I think the way West Ham play at home, we could have something.
Well,
get an early goal, please, and we could have a game.
They keep winning at Upton Park. Yeah. They need to tonight, can they?
It wouldn't surprise me if this was a draw tonight, and I'm not sitting in the fence. It wouldn't surprise me if this is a draw tonight, because you just think at times that something's got to give for West Ham at home. They've only a draw and a defeat.
One defeat, one draw, and they've won the rest.
They won their other 9. It's a huge game for Arsenal. I think they might take a point and disappear and say, OK, let's get this game over with. But I think he's got to play Arsene Wenger to win the game. But I think it might be a draw today.
All right, let's go to Upton Park. Match commentators on the Monday night, of course, Trevor Francis and Alan Parry.
Well, it looks as though Liverpool and Chelsea have fallen by the Championship wayside. Blackburn Rovers still going strong, of course, but surely with their games in hand, it's Arsenal, if anyone can, who've got the best hope of stopping yet another title going to Old Trafford. But as we've been saying, Trevor, really, they cannot afford to slip up tonight.
No, I don't think they will lose, but I think it's very difficult for Arsene Wenger with Bergkamp and Wright on the sidelines. They don't have any real attacking firepower, and I think he's going to set a team out tonight. It's going to be difficult to beat, and I think if they come away with this tonight from this park here with a draw, I think they'll be happy with that.
Some interesting team news. West Ham have a real goalkeeping crisis. Their first choice, Craig Forrest, is out with a neck injury, and those two long-serving veterans, Ludek McCloskey and Les Sealey, are also injured. So there's a long-awaited debut for the flamboyant French international Bernard Lamar. A further blow to the Hammers came with the news that Rio Ferdinand has failed to recover from a calf injury he received in training. His place will be taken by Tim Breaker. Also unavailable because of injury are John Moncur and Paul Kitson, but Trevor Sinclair comes back into the lineup after being cup-tied for the match at Blackburn.
Yes, whilst we're not certain how Arsenal are going to line up, we feel that West Ham will continue with the back 3. I think in Breaker, Pearce and Unsworth, they've only got 3 recognised defenders in the lineup, so it just shows how adventurous Harry Redknapp's team are when they play at home. They've been very, very successful. They've been one of the most difficult teams to beat at home. Good pace in the wide areas with Impey and Lazaridis. And I think a key player for them tonight will be Berkovic. We think Arsenal will play with a back 4. There's no holding player in the midfield for Arsenal, and I would see Berkovic as being a player that could dictate the game tonight.
Well, Arsenal's injury problems are looking better. Nigel Winterburn and Emmanuel Petit both fit again, although Winterburn sits it out on the bench. Matthew Upson preferred to him at left back. Petit is back in, and they're still without David Seaman, Steve Bold, Ray Parlour and of course Ian Wright. And the bad news concerns leading scorer Dennis Bergkamp, who's failed to recover from a back problem which forced him to leave the field in the last match against Crystal Palace. Mark Overmars does, however, return to the starting lineup following his stint with the Dutch national team in America.
Yes, we're basically trying to read Arsene Wenger's mind. We think that it'll be a back 4. Upson preferred to Winterburn. In midfield, you can see a 3 there with 2 just in behind Anelka. But I just have a feeling that that could become 4-4-2. I think that Platt could play on the right-hand side, with Vieira and Petit in the centre, Hughes playing on his natural position on the left-hand side. Then Overmars then will be the one player joining Anelka to make it into a 4-4-2. That could possibly change, but that's my guessing on how they will start, a 4-4-2 formation.
Arsenal third in the table, 47 points from 25 games, 12 points behind Manchester United, but if they win tonight, they'll go above Blackburn into second place. They'll still be 9 points behind Manchester United, but they would still have 2 games in hand. And remember, they have to go to Old Trafford on March the 14th. Another game you can see live on Sky Sports. All looking pretty relaxed, considering what a pressurised situation this is for them. Because the drawback of games in hand is that you know you've got to win them. Manchester United's lead is too great for Arsenal to be able to afford any slip-ups at all. A big night for West Ham as well, with their ambitions of winning a place in Europe, and of course with their magnificent home record this season. Plenty of banter, plenty of smiles, but in a few moments' time, it gets real. Well, it's a match which could well shape the remainder of the Premiership season. With their games in hand, Arsenal feel they have the best chance of catching Manchester United, but they can't afford a mistake against West Ham, who have top 6 ambitions of their own. We'll have the whole game live.
Enter this sanctuary of decadent dreams, where blissful relaxation is a recurring theme. The loudest things you are likely to find are the dubious socks on that man. Do you mind? Smooth slumber, soundless sedation, reclining your mind into cool contemplation, then cast yourself high on the astral plane, float on the night to an angel's refrain. At the risk of corrupting this epic narration, you'll be required to part with a fatter donation. So for tranquilizing bonhomie, cool your jets in premium economy.
As a young entrepreneur, this man had the knack of making the most of his money. 30 years later, he's giving you a tax-free opportunity to do the same with the Virgin Growth PEP. 0345 900 900. No tax. Just the same dodgy haircut.
We really admire the ambulance service. They're great at looking after people. But as frightening as it may feel, a breakdown is rarely a matter of life and death. So you wouldn't expect them to attend. That's the job of the AA.
Hi, this is Fenton.
Like the ambulance service, we put people first.
We get you in the van, get you warmed up.
After all, you're the member, not the car.
We're just a bit quieter than them. Want to get in the van?
The AA. To our members, we're the 4th emergency service. Join now. Call 0800 444 999.
Where's my 406?
What's a 406?
Peugeot, the drive of your life.
There's a shuffle. Bang!
If you want the full picture, look beyond the obvious.
Came out, looked him in the whites of the eyes. Good hit the first time, good hit the second time. The gun was out. Whitfield engine room is firing on all cylinders. Push through bodies. Look at a smile on the manager's face.
There's more to league than you think.
We need more.
On Friday, Oldham beat Bristol City live at 7 on Sky Sports 2.
Can West Ham find a win against Arsenal at last? We're about to find out. Crucial night for the Gunners. Let's join our match commentators at Upton Park, Trevor Francis and Alan Parry.
Thank you, Richard. Welcome back to Upton Park, where there's a new face for the fans to see. A flamboyant, unorthodox Bernard Lamar. Dabbled with a couple of banned substances in his time, but no doubt about his technical excellence. He's played at the very highest level, 35 caps for France, and hoping to be in their World Cup squad. Playing tonight because Craig Forrest, the regular #1, has a neck injury. It'll be Arsenal who'll get the match underway. Only 4 defeats in their 25 league games before tonight. Fewer than any team in the Premiership, and that includes Manchester United. And in fact, it's a record that can't be beaten by any of the 92 professional clubs in the land. Arsenal in their change strip of yellow shirts and blue shorts. Patrick Vieira straight onto the attack for them. David Platt with a mistimed layoff. David Platt, who's started the last couple of games. He was on the bench before that. West Ham with this awesome home record. They've lost only once in 11 Premiership matches here. That was against Newcastle back in September. Matthew Upson under pressure there from Andy Impey. Upson keeping his place in the side, even though Nigel Winterburn is fit again. Upson just 18. Lomas hammers the ball against him. West Ham's throw. Steve Lomas, who scored that decisive penalty last week in the FA Cup win at Blackburn. Sinclair, who couldn't play in that game, leaving it to Impey. West Ham 9th in the table, 39 points from 26 games. If they win, they'll go above Leicester and Leeds into 7th place. Impey doing well to keep it in. Hartson winning the header against Tony Adams, former teammates, of course. Arsenal skipper just guarding the ball out for a goal kick.
Just looking at him to see what the formation is for Arsenal. Certainly Anelka is playing as a front runner as we expected, but at the moment he's got Platt up there alongside him, and Overmars is playing on the left-hand side with basically no one at all holding down a right-hand side of midfield position. So you've got from left to right in midfield Overmars, Hughes, Petit and Vieira.
Poor goal kick there by Manninger. Upson helping it on, however. Anelka couldn't control it first time. Berkovic played it away, and Manninger will hope to do a little better with this clearance. Managed 4 clean sheets in the 8 matches in which he's deputised for David Seaman, out with a broken finger, but back in training and not far away from a possible return. Here's Overmars. Good challenge coming in from Tim Breaker, replacing the injured Rio Ferdinand in West Ham's defence tonight. 2 teams meet again, of course, on Sunday in the FA Cup quarter-final at Highbury. And the first corner of the match goes to Arsenal.
Yes, in the first test for West Ham's new keeper, Lamar. Always difficult trying to deal with corners against Arsenal, renowned for their power from all set pieces, not just corners. They always get excellent movement. Got a little group of 4 there.
Came in a little too flat to West Ham's relief, I think. Keogh gets it back from Vieira and tries to release Anelka. The challenge was by Breaker, and indeed it came off the Arsenal man. West Ham's throw. Flick on by Sinclair, but Hartson had come out of the space that he headed the ball into.
Yes, the 2 of them actually were going for the same ball. That's why Sinclair headed it into an area where Hartson had just vacated.
West Ham had almost released Bernard Lamar here when they signed that 16-year-old Stephen Bywater. And He's only on contract till the end of the season, but with McCloskey and Seeley both out injured, they really had no option other than to play him tonight. The referee stopped play here for some kind of a problem for Martin Keown, which I must confess I didn't see how he received it. It's a pretty nasty smack on the forehead, which is causing him to bleed here. It's a desperate luck, of course, with injuries. He's only just come back into the side after missing half a dozen games with a hamstring problem.
I think this happened in the challenge with Sinclair. That's where he got it. He actually caught Sinclair's elbow. Unintentional. And yet another knock for Martin Keown. And I think he's going to probably have to leave the field at 1 or 2 stitches.
And it's a worrying moment for Arsene Wenger and his trusty number 2 there, Pat Rice. Stitches will be required, and Gary Lewin will have to, I don't know if he can administer them himself or just patch it up until half-time. Unsworth playing it forward here for West Ham. And Manninger sprinting to retrieve possession for Arsenal. In-piece clearance, straight to Matthew Upson.
It's just while Keown's off the field, Petit is dropped into the back 4.
Yeah, stepping forward in midfield, and that's a very good ball, which didn't quite reach Anelka. Had it done so, West Ham have a problem. Limping. Sinclair lets it go on. Pass almost reached it. Good interception by Hughes, but again, it's Sinclair in possession for West Ham. Well, let's see if we can get an up-to-date report on that injury to Martin Keown from George Gavin.
Well, it's a bit like being in a boxing corner at the moment. Gary Lewin, the physio, is trying to stem the tide of blood there without stitching anything up. And he's just like a boxing trainer at the moment. The doctors come over for the Arsenal to have a look at Martin Keown. They're trying to patch him up without using stitches at the moment, so he could be back on shortly.
As Lomas comes forward for the Hammers. Vieira winning it back. Sinclair battling away. Petit closing him down, and now Lomas. Unsworth, Lazaridis making ground down the left. And here he is. And he made a gift of that to Platt, who releases Anelka. Started the last 10 games now. Nicholas Anelka in place of Ian Wright, who's out with a hamstring problem and still some time away from fitness. Keown ready to return. And they can attract the attention of referee Paul Durkin, that is. Dixon's interception, and now Keown is back on the field. You'll remember that his season started late because of injury. That shoulder he broke playing for England in Le Tournoi at the end of last season. Lamar's first clearance, very effective. Really got a follow-through on that, and it's turned into a promising attack here with Berkovic. Just played it the wrong side of Sinclair.
Yes, a little bit unlucky, Berkovic. With good awareness, tried to play the early ball to Sinclair, just slightly played it behind him. It had to be played early. He realised that, otherwise he wouldn't have had the chance.
And Arsenal winning it back here. Anelka, they've got 2 men well placed. Referee took a long look at that and has decided it's a goal kick.
Yes, and I think that was a good decision. Vieira looking for the corner. I think you'll see here as the tackle comes in from Tim Breaker, just touches Vieira. There it is, that's the goal kick.
Here's Upson. Arsenal in an impressive run of form at the moment. They've won their last 3 Premiership matches without even conceding a goal, unbeaten in their last 7. and just one defeat in 15 League and Cup. That was the Coca-Cola semi-final against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Lonas for West Ham. Lazaridis getting back to help out Lee Dixon. And both teams taking time to settle. It's been a slightly frantic and untidy opening. Impey asking a lot of Breaker. And it's a goal kick.
Yes, you're right, Alan. Rather scrappy start, a lot of misplaced passes. There is a lot at stake tonight. We've spoken about how important it is for Arsenal to try and get the victory, but also a vitally important game for West Ham. I was just looking at the remaining 12 games that they've got, Alan, including tonight's match. 8 of them are at home.
Where Harry Redknapp's team have been well nigh invincible this season. Mind you, they've still got to enjoy, if that's the right word, visits from Manchester United, Blackburn and Chelsea. So whatever happens, I think West Ham are going to have a big say in who finishes where in the Premiership this season. Breaker looking to release Sinclair down the line. Arsenal defended well through Adams. And now Petit. Here's Mark Overmars. Lovely skill from him. And Pearce stood his ground. He was expecting Lamat to come out then and help him out. Unusually for the Frenchman, he stayed in the 6-yard box. He does like a wonder occasionally. There's a good little ball. And a very good challenge coming in. David Unsworth across to stop Hughes. Corner.
This is a lovely weighted ball from Upson. And a good run from Hughes. Good covering from Pearce. Unsworth, sorry.
Another Arsenal corner then. Delivery wasn't too clever on the last one. And they've got all that height in. Adams, Keown, Upson's a big lad as well, of course. And Vieira lurking on the edge of the box. There's Hartson who got it away. And Vieira who keeps possession. Keown's dash back. And rather fortunately finds Overmars. And again, good play by Lazaridis, and he's stopped in his tracks by Vieira. Now Impey. This is Lampard. And Breaker almost running into trouble there against Anelka. Unsworth. Delivered long for Hartson to chase. Good defending by Keown. Vieira.
Well, the home crowd are getting a little bit restless, but you have to give credit to Arsenal. They're pressing the ball very, very quickly, not allowing West Ham time to settle on the ball.
Brilliant pass down from Lomas, swept out to Impey. 5 men in the box here. And Berkovic shot the shot. What a brilliant effort and a fine save by Manning.
Yes, it was good play from Impey, but I think Upson shows him too much inside. He invites him to come on the inside. He takes up the offer. Good little ball to Berkovic. This is a great save for Meninga.
West Ham's first corner. Meninga thought about coming for that one. Hartson got ahead to it. And Meninga equal again to the threat. Terrible kick again by the goalkeeper. Unsworth tried to catch him out with the early ball straight back in. But his handling immaculate, his kicking rather less so.
This was a good save, well struck from Berkovic, and you can see that was just creeping inside the near post. Lovely shot, curling in all the time, may possibly hit the inside of the post. But Manninger makes a good save.
He's agile and a terrific shot stopper. He's still only 20, Alex Manninger. He knows that David Seaman's almost ready to return. He's got to be on tip-top form to keep out England's #1. But Arsenal have got one for the future there, all right. Berkovic to Sinclair. So much pace now in this West Ham attack, although on this occasion Sinclair lost control. good football from Arsenal. Upson caught in two minds, however. Adams has given it away to Impey. Now Overmars on the counter-attack. They look to spread it wide to David Platt on the right, but Unsworth read the danger. And here's Lampard. Impey pushes it round. Upson. Petit getting back to help out. That looks suspiciously like a case of obstruction there, but the referee doesn't think so.
Yes, I would have said that was the old-fashioned sandwich. Mr. Durkin didn't think so. Petit and Upson. Here it is. Good covering from Petit, but he just squeezes out Impey. For me, that should be a free kick.
Throw-in is the verdict. Petit's headed clearance only as far as Impey. Lomas did the right thing. Wasn't going anywhere in particular. More than happy to get the throw again. Pearce, I think it was, took the ball away from his own teammates rather than into the danger area. Quarter of an hour gone, and just one shot in anger so far, which Manninger here saved quite brilliantly. Lomas. Petit winning it back. And again. And he was angry there with David Platt, who'd gone forward when he thought he'd hung back for that ball.
Once again, good pressing there from Platt, forcing Unsworth to go all the way back to Lamar.
Well, Lamar's kick there, straight against Anelka. He was fortunate to get away with that. Here's Lampard for West Ham, Hartson. And again, David Unsworth. That's an excellent ball. Sinclair, Adams the defender. A good challenge by Tony Adams.
Yes, I think the closing down from Anelka somewhat took Lamar by surprise, and I wouldn't think that in French football he's accustomed to front players closing down as quickly as what English players do. I've noticed in the early exchanges, Alan, that once or twice Lamar is rather taking his time on his clearances. That may just be a warning to him.
There for David Platt. Lomas. Hartson. Difficult ball to control, bouncing chest high. Good play from Impey, who was then fouled, but the referee says play on.
Yes, that was good work there from Paul Durkin, who played the advantage rule.
Good ball, Berkovic to Lomas. Couldn't take risks in that situation, and Martin Keown quite right to concede the corner.
Yes, he couldn't take the risk. He was waiting for Manninger to come and collect this. He didn't come, so Keown safety first, out for a corner. Good play from him.
It's a decent-looking corner. Keown got there first. Lomas just managing to find Unsworth. Again, a good challenge from Lomas. What a fine signing he has been. In fact, quietly, and with not that much expense by modern-day standards anyway, Harry Redknapp really has built an excellent squad here. A young squad as well. And when they're all fit, there's no reason why West Ham can't finish in the top six, which is Harry Redknapp's stated ambition for the season. They have never, incidentally, in their history, qualified for Europe through their league position. Here's Lazaridis. Berkovic takes over. Overmars. Gifted back to West Ham. Impey looks for the long ball to pick out Hartson, and almost did. Keown read it well.
Yes, he's a little bit unlucky there. Hartson took up a good position on the diagonal, trying to get in behind Keown. I thought perhaps he could have made more of an effort to get to that.
His last game, of course, before a 3-match ban, which means he'll miss the FA Cup quarter-final between the two, and then league games against Manchester United and Chelsea. West Ham really have got a big month coming up in terms of fixtures. And how nice it must be for their supporters not to be looking too closely at the situation at the bottom of the table. Here's Unsworth. Good ball for Lampard. Referee has to take action here, I would think, against Emmanuel Petit. Certainly a free kick.
I don't think there's too much doubt about that.
No card. Lazaridis and Unsworth, the two left-footed players in the West Ham team, over the ball. Keown with a very good header away in this strong swirling wind, and then Manninger with a good safe catch.
Dangerous ball this from Unsworth, played into the danger area. Keeper can't possibly come for that, too much pace. A good header from Keown. This time he does come, makes a clean take.
Matthew Upson. Leaving it to the captain, Adams. There's Lee Dixon. And all the options closed down there for Keown. With a good ball for Dixon. In the first quarter of this match, Trevor, something of a stalemate, really.
Yes, there is a little bit of a blustery wind, which I don't think is conducive to good football, but it's the pressing of both teams that's making it very, very difficult to get a flowing game. Both teams working extremely hard to cancel one another out.
Hughes in possession. Now Upson to the young man, making an impact in Arsenal's experienced squad. Good tackle there by Breaker on Anelka, and West Ham's goal kick.
I was going to say, though, you expect this, don't you, with a local derby? Often I find that games after an hour, they open up. I often feel that there are two games of football, and you have one in the first hour, and the second game takes place in the last half an hour.
Arsenal, incidentally, have a fabulous record at Upton Park. They've won their last 6 games in a row in league and cup matches here, and conceded only 1 goal in that spell, and that was an own goal. Unsworth. Lazaridis. Sinclair's layup. Lomas. And Arsenal continue to parry and tackle and challenge at every opportunity. Vieira finding Overmars. Pat has gone forward and into an offside position. The flag has been raised, but play code goes on. It's Stan Lazaridis. Decision for the referee to make there as well. Patrick Vieira has to be careful tonight. 1 caution, and he will be banned for 1 match. He's already been sent off twice in the last 5 games he started against Coventry and Chelsea, the red cards. He's got a pretty appalling disciplinary record, in all honesty. And West Ham have got a corner.
Yeah, 1 or 2 of the Arsenal defenders looked quite surprised by that decision. They felt that it came off the head of Hartson. This looks like more problems for Keown with that cut. The referee is not going to allow him to continue. If you can see blood there, you can see quite clearly on the forehead. The cut is reopened.
Yes, mandatory instructions really for referees about that particular subject. And there's no choice other than to call on Gary Lewin again.
Well, there's the incident, and well, I think that's come off Hartson. I don't think it is a corner. I can understand why Keown and Adams were a little bit surprised by the decision from Mr. Durkin.
Well, if that doesn't stop it bleeding, nothing will. An extravagant bandage will do until the stitches are inserted at half-time. Now, a great chance here for Unsworth, who scooped it over when he looked as though he was in a really good scoring position.
Well, that was a well-worked corner, wasn't it? They caught Arsenal napping. They only sent one out. It was a brilliantly worked corner. There you see it, just Vieira's out. Platt arrives late, too late. Referee almost gets in the way. Really, Unsworth, good shooting opportunity, absolutely perfect for him on his left foot. Couldn't get direction.
And he managed 1 goal so far in his Hammers career in the 4-1 win here against Crystal Palace in December. Problem for Pearce here, he couldn't really go back to Bernard Lamar. That actually came off the Arsenal man, and Anelka, so it's West Ham's throw, good defending. Well, the importance of the game perhaps reflected in the sort of tension of the football at the moment. No one's really relaxing on the ball. And West Ham have conceded a free kick. Short to Overmars. Lampard did enough to dispossess him. He's only got Sinclair in the forward position at the moment. He's given it back to Arsenal. Petit, Anelka. Platt in behind him. It's a good run here by Anelka. He was unlucky, he just took it away from himself then and seemed to bring down Pearce, but the referee hasn't given anything there. And in the swirling wind, Lamar for a moment was uncertain.
Yes, undoubtedly that was a foul by Anelka on Pearce, but he did it on the blind side of Mr. Durkin. Here you see it as Pearce lays it off.
Hartson took that beautifully on the chest. Berkovic trying to play in Sinclair. And again, the magnificent Keown got across and made the block.
Yeah, once again, good defending. He's got such good pace. And it was needed there against another pacey player in Trevor Sinclair.
Has come to the near post here, leaving Hartson a little bit more room. Platt gets it away with difficulty. Lazaridis has given it away. Overmars showing his pace. In fairness, Lazaridis stopped him getting any further, but here's Platt for Arsenal. And now Anelka. Kept possession well. And finds Hughes. Vieira to Petit. Dixon. In a bit of trouble there against Lomas. Didn't look comfortable from the moment the ball was played to him, but he's done well enough to win it back in that challenge. And now Patrick Vieira. Anelka. And again, good snapshot. And the first real save for Bernard Lamar.
A good spell of good possession this from Arsenal. Vieira very much behind it. Quick snapshot from Anelka. Lamar's first save in English football.
Now Hartson bearing down on the Arsenal defence. Didn't get very far. And that's why a considerable bolt of Tony Adams in his way. Pearce winning the header against Anelka. Lampard turning it on. Upson is really first and foremost a centre-back. And a left-back role for Arsenal at the moment. Here's Petit.
There are actually one or two Arsenal players currently playing out of position in this team.
Oh, in danger here for West Ham. Quite a why Overmars suddenly stopped them and he seemed to be in a good position.
Well, I can only assume, Alan, he stopped because he was appealing for handball, because that ball looks like it was going to ricochet off the foot of a West Ham defender into his path.
And here's Berkovic at the other end, surrounded by Arsenal defenders. And Pearce, with an unchallenged header, has conceded the throw.
Well, if it was handball, that's not really conclusive. I don't think it was inside the box. There it is, and it's a good yard outside. It definitely was a handball against Pearce.
Strange thing was, if Overmars had played to the old ruling about play till the whistle, he could still have got himself into a goal-scoring position then.
He was clear, wasn't he? I can't understand why he stopped. It wasn't as if he had actually stopped the ball with his hand. It still continued through to him. That possible chance came about for Overmars in a more central area. They've just had a little change, Arsenal. You see Platt in possession here now. He's come over on the left. And Overmars has gone up to support Anelka.
Hughes doing brilliantly there to burst between the two defenders. And Anelka on the far post that seemed to run straight in front of him. Here's Dixon. Oof, good effort by a man who doesn't usually trouble the scorers.
Well, that was a good burst of activity there from Arsenal. Great play from Hughes. And was this a chance for Anelka? I think it was. He expected Pearce to clear that, or Unsworth, I should say. I think it was there at the back post. And he rather took his eye off it. And the shot from Dixon not causing any trouble to Lamar. Into the near post, into the side netting. But that was a chance for Anelka.
And in a game as tight as this, a real chance. Vieira. Platt helping it on to Hughes. Clearance by Impey. Arsenal enjoying a good little spell of possession here. Lee Dixon again. Come down the outside for Overmars. Lazaridis has got back with him, but he's lost him. And gets it in towards Platt. A difficult ball there for Impey. Hughes. Wild effort by the teenager Matthew Upson.
Yeah, I think he was going for goal there, but if he had put it back across the goal, Anelka and Platt were both in the box. This is the good play from Hughes when he puts it across the goal. Brilliant ball. This just down the corridor between the keeper and the defender. Well, how lucky is Unsworth to get away with that? Anelka fully expected Unsworth to clear that. And that split second forced him to take his eye off the ball.
Well, coming off Petit's head there and giving Dixon a problem. I must stress it is a very windy night here at Upton Park, which isn't making it easy perhaps for players on either side to get the ball down and play. .12 minutes and a half remaining. 0-0. West Ham looking for the win that would take them up to 7th. Arsenal for the 3 points that would lift them into 2nd place. Well, a fascinating match coming up on Sky Sports in Super Sunday. Newcastle United against Barnsley, whose revival has really sparked a great deal of interest. This one, of course, the 6th round of the FA Cup. Our programme begins at 4:30 on Sky Sports 2. There's Hughes. And space here for Anelka. He might have made more of it. Seemed a bit surprised at the opening.
I think he was surprised, Anelka, that no West Ham defender was within 10 yards of him. He was allowed to come off, nobody bothered to go tight, and allowed him a chance to turn on the ball.
Pearce's clearance, again under pressure from Nicolas Anelka. He won't be 19 till later this month, and when you consider how inexperienced he is, he seems to be getting better with every game. That was a very, very sloppy ball by Impey, which has got West Ham defending when they should have been attacking. David Platt. Dixon. And that's West Ham's throw to Impey's huge relief. Hartson winning the header against Keown. And Sinclair wins it back for West Ham and finds Impey. Hartson on the far post, Berkovitz and Sinclair also in the box. Keown with the clearance. Very calm defending them by Unsworth. This is Tim Breaker. Impey. Well, how did he find room to turn there? He's lost Upson for the moment. And Petit. Lampard's layoff to Lomas. Unsworth. Keown has been first to everything so far.
Yes, he's been that much quicker in the mind than Hartson. Hartson has been a little bit static, wanting to play in a more central area. His movement hasn't been good enough up front. And really, Keown and Adams totally dominated him in this first half.
Dixon's clearance only as far as Lomas. Now Lazaridis. Upson's gets it away, and the ball still ricocheting around. Breaker finding Sinclair. Berkovitz. Off Adams for a West Ham corner.
I think that's where they're going to get a little bit more success, when they get into Sinclair and into Berkovitz's feet. They've not had too much joy when they put balls in from wide areas. High balls looking for Hartson. As I said this now, he's been totally dominated. They've got to look to try and get in. They're playing more balls into feet.
A little flick on the near post, causing a problem here for Arsenal. But the header by David Unsworth behind goal kick.
Yes, an important challenge from Adams at the back post. I think it's Sinclair who gets the little near post flick on. You watch Adams here. He knows he's not going to head that. You could possibly say that was a foul, therefore a penalty, but I don't think the referee's going to give it. But certainly Adams knew he couldn't get there in the air, so he just pushed himself into Unsworth and just did enough to put him off. Otherwise it would have been a free header.
Unsworth again for West Ham. Lomas busy. Impey. Sinclair. And Lomas was on the ground and still managed to get up and retrieve the ball. There's Breaker. No time for anyone on the ball tonight in this game. A lovely interplay between Lampard and Berkovitz. He was fouled then by Petit as he played it away, and Lazaridis with an ambitious and decent effort from a long way out.
Well, that was an unnecessary challenge from Petit. Very, very late. Mr. Durkin just having a quiet word with him. If he had made connection, he would certainly have gone in the book. There it is.
Shrewd signing. Lazaridis has been only £300,000. This is his third season this in England. The Australian international. And they've lost him a few times to international duty this season. So a few injuries as well. I'm sure he'll be first choice down that left-hand side when he's available.
Yeah, I think the change of system this season by Harry Redknapp has certainly suited Lazaridis. Played often as a left-hand-sided midfield player in a four. And he's now made this left wing-back position into his own.
The other wing-back, Impey, having a very unhappy little 10 minutes in this game. He's just conceded another unnecessary throw. Anelka being held. Adams is coming forward for the kick. Keown staying back on the halfway line this time. And Upson, who's another 6-foot-plus player, near the penalty spot. It's gone over his head. Vieira reaching it on the far side. Against Lomas, towering over him, and Berkovitz.
There were one or two moans there from Arsenal supporters, thinking that the free kick from Hughes had been slightly overhit, but I think that was planned. One or two went to the near post, left a space around the back for a late run from Vieira.
And the skill and quickness of Overmars earning Arsenal another corner. Lazaridis with the challenge. 5 minutes of the half remaining.
Well, West Ham have brought everyone back. They're fully aware of the danger of these corners. They've got 10 players in the penalty box defending this corner.
Almost reached Platt. Whipped away by Sinclair. Dixon. Now Keown. Petit. In low towards Anelka. And I'm not sure whether that was meant to be just playing the ball onto a teammate or a shot. Either way, it didn't come off. Great speed down the left-hand side by Lazaridis. Sinclair comes to meet him. Hartson's in the middle. Used his strength. And got in a very spectacular effort.
Well, I don't know if the ball from Lazaridis was intentional, but it wasn't in the air. Along the ground, Hartson's onto it. Spectacular overhead kick. Right in the hands of Manninger.
His FA Cup goal at Blackburn ended a run of 6 games without a goal for John Hartson, and was his 19th of the season. West Ham could have a real problem when he is out suspended, incidentally, Hartson, because Paul Kitson is still not really close to playing again because of a persistent injury. Samasi Abu, who's one of their substitutes tonight, the only recognised striker, along with Sinclair, who cannot play in the cup tie on Sunday because he is cup tie. And here he is. Berkovitz lost Petit brilliantly then. And Arsenal withstood the pressure very calmly.
Vieira took up a great defensive position for a midfield player. Knew exactly where that ball was going to go. His positioning was excellent. Came straight to him. That wasn't through luck.
Well, both teams have worked tremendously hard in this first half to close down opponents. It hasn't always made for attractive football, but I'm sure, as you rightly say, Trevor, they won't be able to keep up this momentum in the second half, and when you get tired players, then spaces open up, and I'm sure we'll see a better game.
Yeah, a bit of tiredness, a bit of lack of discipline creeping into the last half an hour. That's when it starts to open up.
Impey did well to reach that one. Lomas tackling away, and Hughes wasn't going to be brushed aside. Skill. He deserved a better fate than that.
A little bit of inexperience there, because the old hand Tony Adams was just waiting for a little roll back to him. He was totally unmarked, made himself available. I think Hughes just tried to be a little bit too clever.
And Upson certainly fouled Lomas then.
Those sort of tricks are okay in the attacking half of the field, but certainly when you're defending the last third of the pitch, should err on safety. Once again, Arsenal caught sleeping on the free kick.
And almost in trouble, Keown inevitably was the man who got them out of danger again. There's Lazaridis, he's had one pop from distance. Comes out to Lomas. Lampard. West Ham get a corner.
And 2 set pieces now Arsenal have been caught napping, Alan. Once on a corner, and on a free kick. Very unusual for Arsenal because they're so disciplined.
Hartson beaten to it again by Keown. Lomas drove it into the crowd of players. And now Lampard. And Arsenal's defending at the highest order throughout this half.
Yeah, one particularly good defender from Manninger, though, in goal. He elected to come for the cross, got halfway, realised he couldn't get there. He was caught, and he got away with it. Thanks to the defending from some of his back four players, got the ball away.
Vieira. No-nonsense defending, I think you'd call that, by Ian Pearce. Almost lashed it into the street outside, but they can't score when it's out in the street. Here's Petit. Now Adams. Dixon making a run, and he spotted him. Well, Dixon did his best to win a corner there, and succeeded, but wasn't quite ready to join the season ticket holders at this stage.
Well, you could say that was a lost cause, not for Dixon. What an appetite he's still got for the game. In his early 30s now, but he didn't give that up for dead, and he's won his team a corner.
And who knows what they could get out of this. Oh, they could get something yet. Adams! He ripped that straight across the face of goal. And it looked certain it was going to find the net.
Well, that was horrible defending, wasn't it, from West Ham? John Hartson takes an air shot, completely misses with his left foot. Adams doesn't know where the goal is. With his back to it, side on. He's a little bit unlucky. The most relieved man in that penalty box, and there were enough players in there at that moment, was John Hartson, as he completely missed with his left foot trying to clear.
And young Stephen Hughes was so close as well to applying a little touch there to Adams' overhead kick. So Dixon's persistence could well have seen his side going in at half-time, a goal to the good. But here's Impey for West Ham. Berkovic, back again to Impey. Well, easy for me to say up here, I know, but I think he chose the wrong option then. Pearce.
That's the type of build-up play that we've been looking for from West Ham. Once again, Berkovic cleverly involved, played a lovely little ball to Impey. I don't think it was a bad ball from Impey. He looked up to put it at the back post, but Hartson had made the run to the near.
Manninger's save, the highlight of the half, really, in terms of either of the goalkeepers, because Bernard Lama hasn't had too much to do at the other end. But this was an outstanding save from the 20-year-old Austrian. And at the other end, Tony Adams, and then Stephen Hughes, almost applying the finishing touch. But it's been an almost sort of half. And inevitably, with so many good defenders on view, we've reached half-time at Upton Park with a scoreline of West Ham 0, Arsenal 0.
This March on Sky Box Office.
Show me the money.
You could win.
And the prize is
£2,000 or one of 3 great trips.
You're gonna want to go south.
Where are we going?
To either Morocco,
I want to see the whole world.
Italy,
So very beautiful.
or Africa.
I love Africa.
Every time you order a Sky Box Office movie, you're entered in the draw, and there'll be 5 winners. The Sky Box Office prize draw. Just the ticket.
says here, the internet is the future of business. We have to be on the internet.
Why?
Doesn't say.
Deutsche Ingenieure stellen tolle Reifen her. Aber miese Dachterrassen. Continental. Tires engineered in Germany.
This is Ronseal varnish. Ronseal varnish is easy to apply and gives any wood a beautiful, tough finish. I used it on my hull, and it gave me a finish that was beautiful and tough. So if you want your wood to have a tough, beautiful finish, use Ronseal varnish. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Better than a diamond ring because it's zirconium, and zirconium isn't going to wear out like diamonds.
No. Plus, a brand new body hair enhancement system, which thickens chest hair in seconds, and it comes in 5 completely natural colours. You'll know.
Fat neck, thin neck, long neck, short neck. You got it like that. Just tidy it round, and there you go. How do I look?
Thankfully, there's no mistaking a McDonald's original, like this McRib, succulent boneless pork and barbecue sauce for an amazing $1.39. Another great way to enjoy more at McDonald's.
Describe St. Patrick's Day.
Lively fun. People out there having fun, dancing up and down.
Got to give it a nice head.
Yes, you must tell your class. People are dancing, buzzing, music playing.
And then I'll stop it. And you walk away, serve someone else.
Dancing up and down.
Yeah,
everybody.
17th of March. And then you come back and you top it up.
Yeah, I'm there. I walk in it, I feel great. They're feeling great.
See, we've got different techniques.
Another big fight from the past coming up tomorrow night on Super Bounce. This week it's from 1981. Marvin Hagler defends his world middleweight title against Vito Antuofermo. That's tomorrow night, 10 o'clock on Sky Sports 3. Monday Night Football right here. West Ham and Arsenal. Half-time. No score. It's been tight-handed. Strange game, hasn't it?
Yeah, it hasn't quite kicked in yet, Richard, I think. It's very fiercely contested. I think both teams have gone at it, but not an awful lot of great football to admire, to be fair.
No cards either. Might have been. Not yet, pleased to say. Ball's been in the mid-third there for the most part, hasn't it? Arsenal, surprisingly, with the majority of the possession. So what do you think is wrong?
Well, there's not so much wrong. I think like an awful lot. Trevor touched on it quite rightly. An awful lot of games at this level. We've spoken about this umpteen times. In the first half, when they're as tight as this, and they're particularly derbies are often just tight and tense, and it takes time for them to open up. I think that Arsenal have set the stall out to be difficult to beat. They've gone pretty much as we thought, as was discussed on the table. They've allowed the ball to go wide. I think what Keown and Adams have done are defended all the crosses that have come in quite comfortably, and they really took half an hour, Arsenal, before they really got into gear at all.
We saw one great save yesterday from Espen Bardson. Tonight, one from Meninga. Is this as good or better, this one?
It's as good as. I think this save is as good as, and I think this is two 20-year-old goalkeepers we're talking about. You know, we often talk about goalkeepers not maturing until they're 28, 29, but normally what's happened when they've got it wide, Richard, they've delivered it in like that, and they've coped quite well. But what they do here is Upson decides to send MP infield. That's in on his left side. It's not such a bad thing normally because you send them in onto his weaker side. But I would always insist to send them down the line because you can pick out passes like that. And he just steps up Berkovic. It's what, just over 20 yards, 21 yards, and he's hitting that well, you know. And look at the way he just plants his feet and left hand comes out. That's a magnificent save.
One-handed.
There's two great views of it here coming up. That one, full stretch. One hand, good strong hand. You know, that's when you talk about a goalkeeper having a strong hand, when he's at full stretch, strong fingers, and it diverts him past.
And Spurs scored in the last minute of the first half yesterday. Arsenal very nearly did here, through an unlikely source.
Well, John Hartson missed a penalty and he was absolutely gutted, to borrow a footballing phrase, when in the cup tie, and it cost him the game, he felt. He's rather a relieved young man again, because John goes in here, you just see him right here, Richard. He goes to clear an ordinary corner, bread and butter, go on. I'll whack it down the pitch. But he doesn't get it right. And I agree with Trevor, I think he's unlucky, Tony Adams, because it's instinctive, he turns, he hits it. He's only a yard from goal. It's probably harder to miss it than it is to score. And they're a little unlucky that even Hughes doesn't get in on it and all, but that was about the best chance.
Got to have time for the highlight of the first half for me. Have you got it?
Yeah, I've got it. It was brilliant. Hilly Dixon, who I know well, he'll be on the phone tomorrow. There'll be a lot of people laughing about this. This is fantastic. He does brilliant. The boss, ball ref, corner, yeah, corner. Watch his face. He almost smiles when he comes up. Like, he's thinking,
watching us, watching you.
Should I smile or should I be embarrassed? He's thinking to himself there.
But full marks for getting in there, you'd say?
Oh, yeah, he chased a ball that he had no right to get to and almost got his side of goal.
Half-time, goalless at Upton Park. West Ham 0, Arsenal 0. The incentive for the Gunners, remember, to keep the pressure on at the top. West Ham won't give this up easily. Second half comes next.
Sky viewers, don't panic. Rescue paramedics are on their way.
We've come halfway across London for nothing.
You call this nothing?
They live for the thrill. They are fearless.
They are stupid. See a boat turn into a plane turn into a car, and a car turn into a paperweight. Then we bring on the real idiots.
Hurrah!
Pole vaulting, ball shooting, sheep-loving lunatics from around the world. And why? Because it's Tuesday night on Sky One.
Who would I most like to have a one-to-one with?
It's gotta be Elvis Presley!
56 would be a cool year. He'd be 21. Apparently, he really felt lonely at times, even before he was idolised by millions. I'd cheer him up. It would be great to go for a drive with him, pop round his mum's for a cup of tea. I'd ask him who was his best friend. I'd have been a good friend to him, I think. Maybe I'd ask him to sing for me. My own private Elvis Presley concert.
Who would you most like to have a one-to-one with? Our mobile phone service gets people talking.
This is Ronseal Quick Drying Wood Stain. It's a wood stain from Ronseal that's quick drying. It protects your wood and is rainproof in about 30 minutes, which means in about 30 minutes your wood is rainproof and protected. So if you want your wood stain to dry quickly, use Ronseal Quick Drying Wood Stain. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Come on, sweetie. Come on, my son.
As they come into the home screen, it's sweet and sour, by a short curl from barbecue beef. Sweet and sour, barbecue beef takes a twist on the rails, and sweet and sour now making up the ground. And he's fallen! He's fallen! Sweet and sour's taken a tumble. And let's just hope there's nobody injured.
Oh, shut up.
It's never nice to see a highly trained noodle fall like that.
No, don't muck about. Don't.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't.
Bachelor's ordinary noodles. Oh, no, my friend.
She stepped away from me and she moved through the fair. And funny, I watched her go here and go there. Then she went her way homeward with one star away. As the swan in the evening moves over the lake. I dreamt she came to me and as she did say, it will not be long, love, till our wedding day.
Okay, here we go. That's it. You can do it. Attaboy. You got it. Oh.
How sporty does a dog have to be to deserve pedigree schmackos, the delicious meaty treat? Not very.
Yes! Oh.
Made with fresh meat, they're not just delicious, they're nutritious too. So there's always a good reason to give pedigree schmackos.
That's it. You can do it. Attaboy.
Fiat dealers have 0% finance on the 5-door Fiat Brava with only a 20% deposit. Call 0800 717 000 for more information.
happened? What about the mid-race incident?
Mr. Hill!
Now in the Sun, every Saturday, Sports Week. Your bumper guide to sport, from Formula One to football. Sun Sports Week, your pick of the week's sporting action.
Fancy a pizza?
Dedicated to the people.
Barnsley are in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup.
They put out Cup favourites Man United.
A goal for Barnsley.
The Cup dream lives on for the Yorkshire Heroes. Next stop,
Newcastle at St James's Park.
Now they face another test of their cup-fighting spirit. Now they face a team that has sheer power, sheer speed, sheer strength, sheerer.
This is sensational!
Ford Cup Special, Newcastle versus Barnsley. Sunday at 4:30 live on Sky Sports 2.
Friday night, Sky Sports 2. Two teams pushing hard for promotion from the second division right now. Oldham and Bristol City meet at Boundary Parks, live on Sky Sports 2. Here on 1, West Ham and Arsenal, Monday Night Football. Stephanie Moore, the widow of the late, great Bobby Moore, flanked by Hurston Peters, receiving a cheque for cancer research at Upton Park tonight. 5 years since Bobby Moore died, the greatest hammer ever, Andy. And they still really haven't erected, West Ham aside, a fitting monument to Bobby Moore, have they?
No, they haven't, Richard. Hopefully it will be addressed sooner rather than later.
Now then, Monday Night Football. Hammers, as we've said, looking for European qualification from the league. Arsenal need to keep the heat on at the top. Is there a winner in this?
You're not asking me, are you? I thought you were going to throw it.
Well, because you looked away.
No, honestly, I said to you before the game, I thought this might be a draw. I've seen nothing that suggests anything other than that at the moment. But I just think that one of these teams is going to push on and start taking a few more risks. The game will open up far more second half. I definitely would say that. As to whether we're going to see any goals, Richard, well, that depends on those 22 young men that are striding out onto the pitch right now. I think there'll be chances. It's whether one of them will convert any.
Right, back we go. Trevor Francis and Alan Parry.
Thanks, Richard. Welcome back. There is going to be one change in personnel at the start of the second half here. A very familiar face coming on for West Ham, Steve Potts, their longest-serving player, replacing Tim Breaker. That'll be a like-for-like swap. We gather that Breaker has some kind of injury problem, but Potts will slip quite easily into that same role in the back three. His 15th season here now, and he's still only 30. So, a tight, disciplined, defensive 45 minutes behind us. What lies ahead in the next 45 in a match that Arsenal know they certainly can't afford to lose if they're to maintain their pursuit of Manchester United. And straight on the attack here with Anelka. Pearce across to cover.
It was a sloppy start from West Ham. Berkovic got possession, elected to play it back to Unsworth, but didn't play it onto his left foot, onto his right foot. And that caused Unsworth an immediate problem.
Matthew Upson doing well to find overmarks. Emmanuel Petit. Let's have a little ball over the top, but oh dear, that misunderstanding there by Pearce could have led to tears. He can smile now. I'm sure he never meant to do that.
Well, he obviously had a late call from Lamar. Attempted just to leave the ball, but it struck him on the back, and it could have gone anywhere.
Well, we can find out more about Tim Breaker's injury from George Gavin. Perhaps he's got injured as well. We'll come back to you later, George. Here is Potts. Now getting a lot of air on the clearance. Impey. And Hartson with a nice little touchdown to Sinclair. Sinclair's there again. Closed down this time by Adams. And Vieira delivering a difficult ball away from the danger zone.
But once again, he takes up a very good covering position, good defensive position Vieira took up, spotted the danger. I'm very impressed with the two central midfield players tonight for Arsenal, the two Frenchmen, Petit and Vieira. And an excellent awareness.
West Ham have taken 28 out of the 33 points at stake here at Upton Park this season. A fabulous record, but they're on the back foot now. They were appealing for an offside, which didn't come, as Anelka sprung the trap, but overplays the cross intended for David Platt.
No, the linesman was right. It was Pearce who put his hand up, tried to play Anelka offside. There you can see, he was in line, good decision.
West Ham seem to have started this second half a little anxiously at the back, one or two mistakes. But now they're looking threatening with Sinclair. Berkovic. Oh, it was very nearly a lovely ball that for Impey.
You do feel, don't you, that if West Ham are going to go on to win this game, they've got to get a lot more of the ball to Berkovic. He used it so intelligently. Just as I say that, he loses possession.
It always happens, believe me. Hughes with a very determined run down the left. The cross easy for Lamar. Martin Keown with a fresh head bandage now, and also 5 stitches underneath that in that head wound he suffered early on. Hasn't stopped him having an outstanding game. And there's another header clear. Overmars. It's 3 against 3 momentarily here. Anelka releasing it, but over-hitting it.
Yeah, it appears that just leave it there. That wasn't a particularly good throw, was it, from Lamar? Certainly put Unsworth under pressure. I was going to say, Alan, that it looks as if Arsenal in this second half are going to play with 3 up. They changed that way halfway through the first half, came more into the game in the latter part of that first half and decided that's the way they're going to play in the second half. Anelka is the player furthest forward, but Overmars and Platt just playing off him.
Manchester United unbeaten in their last 4 away games in the Premiership. They've lost only twice in 11 matches outside of Highbury, against Derby and Sheffield Wednesday. David Platt finding Matthew Upson.
I can't think what he was trying to do there.
There's Pearce. Upson climbing over Sinclair, but getting away with it and getting it clear. Hughes again delivers it a little too long. And both sides seem to have had trouble playing their passing games tonight.
You get the feeling that both teams really would be reasonably pleased with a draw. I think West Ham is showing far too much respect for Arsenal. They've not had the better of them in the 2 previous games. Psychologically, that's had a big effect on them, I feel, tonight. And I think without Arsenal's firepower of Bergkamp and Wright, they've set a team out to keep it tight. And I'm sure they'll be reasonably happy with the draw themselves.
West Ham haven't beaten Arsenal at Upton Park for 11 years, unbelievably. And as you say, this season they really have had the better of them. A 4-0 win at Highbury back in September in the league, and then of course a victory here in the quarter-final of the Coca-Cola Cup. Platt's found a bit of room. Keown delivering it long for Overmars, 2-1. Berkovic. Good play by Hughes. But Lomas dispossesses him. That's been the story all night, really. People getting those tackles in, closing people down quickly. And it's meant there hasn't been a real flow to the game as yet. Offside here.
Straight ball this from Adams. Was he offside? And I think that shows he wasn't.
Well, Platt made a career out of making those runs to perfection.
When he actually receives the ball, he looks to be about 3 or 4 yards offside, but the actual run wasn't offside.
Petit with a very calm header back there to Manninger. And a bit of controversy at the other end, certainly. The linesman maybe was a little bit premature with that flag. Anelka trying to cause a problem here for Pearce. Lomas keeps it in. Hughes. Run back by Lampard. And the long ball aimed at Hartson, not too accurately. Adams gets it clear. And then Sinclair dispossessing Petit. Referee had a look at the linesman, and the verdict is goal kick.
Yeah, I think you'll find that Petit, just at the appropriate moment, just gave him a little nudge here as Sinclair was about to cross this ball. Let's have a look. There it is. That's why the cross from Sinclair went behind the goal.
Anelka with a lovely soaring header there, gets it back from Overmars. And again, the little Dutchman presents it straight to Berkovic. Hartson, he's had a quiet match so far against his former club. Berkovic, lovely skill. Now Hartson, thought about the shot, didn't quite open up for him. Well played, Patrick Vieira. Anelka. Overmars, 4 forward in this Arsenal attack, and a 5th joining them in Hughes in the centre. But now West Ham have men behind the ball. Impey tried to play it first time for Sinclair. Adams wasn't having any of that. Anelka with the challenge.
Well, you always felt, didn't you, once Pearce allowed that ball to drop, he was always going to be in trouble.
Good tackle by Petit. Vieira. Lazaridis has it back for West Ham and sees a gap open up. Berkovic just couldn't control the ball. The pace of the game hotting up, Trevor.
Yeah, initially there was a little bit of space for Berkovic, but Upson took up a good position. He came in from the left-hand side, took a good covering position, and denied Berkovic the space.
Space really is at a premium out there tonight. Nipping in to win it back. And gets the cross in, and Kian had to get there. Sinclair was in behind him. Now Overmars. Well played. And was then fouled, but as they got possession with Anelka, the referee raised play on. Tackle still flying in the middle third of the field. Calm play by David Unsworth. The crowd are getting warmed up now, and the players are too.
It was a late challenge, actually. That was from Lampard on Overmars. Just wonder when the game actually stops whether the referee, Mr. Durkin, will take any action against Lampard. We'll wait and see.
Lazaridis, Sinclair. Keown did brilliantly again. Going to have to do again here against Sinclair. No problem.
No, and also no problem for Lampard, because the ball has gone into play now. Mr. Durkin hasn't taken any action.
57 minutes almost gone, and not a single yellow card yet.
Well, we've got 3 minutes to go, Al, before we get the first yellow card. Here's
Unsworth. Closed down by 20 Angie Vieira. Potts. Impey. Potts has gone forward hoping for the return, but Impey's got the pace to go in a different direction. Hartson's offside.
Good organisation this from the Arsenal back four, just as the ball is about to be released. Well, Keown comes out, puts his arm up, but you can see quite clearly again he wasn't offside.
And I think both of the officials down the touchline have got those decisions wrong.
It's so difficult, Alan, to get it right, isn't it? We say that every week.
Well, that's what they're there for.
But he can't possibly keep his eye on the ball as it's been delivered, and also on the man who's making the run. It's impossible.
Berkovic doing well to win that one back for West Ham. Sinclair. Lampard. Now Arsenal with Platt and Dixon. Vieira. T. David Platt realised that. West Ham's throw.
And the linesman sat on the fence. The referee was waiting for instructions from him. He kept his flag down, he wasn't sure. He was only 5 yards away from the action.
Arsenal with 12 matches to go after tonight, by the way. 7 of them are away, and they've still got to go to Manchester United, Blackburn and Liverpool. Blackburn currently the nearest to Manchester United, and they've been quietly efficient all season, and get a little annoyed, understandably at times, that people don't mention them when they're talking of anyone overtaking Manchester United. But certainly Arsenal, with their games in hand, could perform the miracle if they can win them all, but that's a big if. Vieira lunged at there by Unsworth. Arsenal's free kick. Coming up to an hour gone then. Goalless, and really only one chance, you'd say, at either end. The shot by Berkovic, brilliantly saved by Manninger, and then Tony Adams' overhead kick from an Arsenal corner late on in the first half. Now Hartson for West Ham. Impey out on the right. He was never allowed to find it. The challenge by Upson was a good one. Potts. Lampard. Nazaridis forced in from his usual position on the left, but did really well to check inside Dixon, who brought him down.
Yes, quite clearly a foul by Dixon on Nazaridis.
Well, it's a game that needs a goal, this. And Lampard shot, couldn't provide it, but gave Manninger a little bit of concern.
Yeah, I would have thought he was slightly concerned by the fact that nobody really came to close him down. You can see Petit there doing up his bootlace. Vieira, the nearest man to him, he doesn't close him down. Rather inviting for Lampard to take the shot.
He's 8 goals already this season. And a terrific season it's been for the youngster. Still only 19. Difficult ball for Manninger here. And well, it's gone out of play. I'm sure he had one eye on Berkovic bearing in at him. The rain falling quite heavily now in East London, a real zip to the surface. And still no prospect of this match opening up.
Yes, we condoned this rain just before kick-off. Just to have livened the pitch up a bit.
Remember, the teams meet again at Highbury on Sunday in the FA Cup quarter-final. And indeed, Arsenal seem to be saving a lot of money on travelling costs these days. This is their 8th successive match in London, and the next 2 are also in the capital. They do include away games against Palace and Chelsea and West Ham, but they haven't travelled far in that time. Unsworth, a little Maisie. Lazaridis. Lampard opens it out. Good ball for Impey on the right.
Yes, we haven't seen enough of that, have we? The change of play.
An embarrassment there for Steve Potts.
We've seen quite a bit of that.
Yeah. It's a measure of how much West Ham have improved in the last couple of seasons, that they've defended just as well as Arsenal tonight. They've only conceded 8 goals in their 11 league games here. Lazaridis on the attack for them. And now Lomas to Impey. Keown inevitably got it clear.
He really has defended well tonight, hasn't he, Keown? Lazaridis then just burst into that gap that he spotted, but Keown was the first back to get in a good tackle.
Yes, and I'm sure a fit Martin Keown will come very firmly into Glenn Hoddle's thoughts again.
Here it is, once again. Superbly timed tackle from Keown.
Sinclair looked up to see if the linesman's flag was raised. It wasn't. Onside. Looking for Hartson, far post. Manninger had to get there and did.
Yes, it had to be a perfect ball from Sinclair because there was only one West Ham player in the box. You see John Hartson go in there. Arsenal have got a good 3 defenders plus the keeper back. And just one West Ham forward there.
Lazaridis. Keown comes to lead it again. How often have I said that tonight? Berkovic, a little deflection, kind for West Ham. Sinclair, Lazaridis. Here's Hartson, and the linesman has raised his flag this time, offside.
There's no doubt about that one, is there? Hartson not really looking across the line. Didn't move his position. And was caught quite clearly offside.
West Ham enjoying a good deal of possession here, but having trouble manning it too often. And you could argue that Lamar there has had an even quieter time of it on his debut.
As we expected, isn't it? You know, without the firepower, as we mentioned, on the right, Bergkamp just looked very, very lightweight up front.
Well, a draw away from home in any Premiership fixture is a good result, particularly when you're short of key players. But is a draw really going to help Arsenal's cause with Manchester United's lead so great at the moment?
I think any team coming to West Ham, and we've mentioned they've got another 7 of the remaining 11 matches at home. If they get a draw here, it will be a good result.
Yeah, only one team have managed to draw here in the league this season. It was Everton. And only one team have won here, Newcastle. That's in the league. Arsenal, the other winners in the Coca-Cola Cup. Overhead kick by Platt. A catch by Lamar. He was born in Guyana, by the way, and played in the Cup Winners' Cup final for his previous club, Paris Saint-Germain. He hasn't played for them since last May, so it's 7 months since he played a first-team fixture. And only one reserve game as well for West Ham so far. So match fit is certainly not a phrase that you could use about him. Lampard for West Ham. Now Berkovic. Lampard continues his run. The defending has been so good by both teams that there's been an absolute premium of chances. Sinclair helping it on. There couldn't have been much communication there between Manninger and Adams.
I'd say that wasn't a bad ball from Sinclair. Rather took Arsenal by surprise and took his teammate Hartson by surprise, because there was no reaction from Hartson. That would have been a difficult ball for Adams to deal with if Hartson had responded, or reacted, I should say.
Hartson heads it back into the danger zone. Keown got it clear. And Nelka doing well to win it back momentarily there, but then Potts did the same job for West Ham. Impey. Still got all the players forward from that earlier corner. There's Lazaridis. Sinclair. Lampard. Unsworth tries to vary it with the long ball. Hartson taking it on the chest and finding Impey. Lazaridis. Just took it a little too far, but has still got possession. Unsworth looking for Hartson in the box, over his head and Upson's. And Pratt stumbled and concedes the corner.
He actually hesitated, didn't he? His first intentions were he was going to hook it with his left foot out for a throw-in, delayed it, and ended up giving away a corner.
Potts lifts it back in again. There's Upson who got it away. 21 players hemmed into the Arsenal half at the moment. Eyal Berkovic for West Ham. Clever ball for Sinclair, and it almost comes to Hartson. It does, and somehow or other, Manninger has made a brilliant save, falling on the ball.
Well, that's the nearest we've been to a goal. I thought Hartson had scored.
At the other end, Overmars finds Platt in space, and the header disappointing.
Well, this is the build-up play from Berkovic. Great little run from Sinclair. Plays it first time to Hartson. It goes around Manninger. But look how quickly Manninger gets up to thwart Hartson. It's a great recovery. You see him now, he's on the floor, quickly up onto his feet. Little dive, and he prevents Hartson from giving West Ham the lead.
Goalkeepers spend hours, don't they, in training, doing that sort of thing, lying on the ground and throwing themselves from one side to the other. It paid off for him in that moment. Great reactions from the Austrian.
Great reactions from Manninger, Alan, but I'm just wondering if Hartson, when he looks at the game, will think to himself, should I have not allowed him to have made the save? He was onto his left foot. Really, he should have blasted that into the back of the net. He rather scuffed it and gave Manninger the chance to make the save.
Missed that penalty, of course, in that Coca-Cola tie here against his old club. It would have given him the greatest of pleasures to sign off before his bat with a goal. Still time. And Unsworth looks to find him, but has overhit the free kick. Acknowledges his error. Well, let's remind you that the FA Cup quarter-final takes place this weekend, and on Sunday we have live coverage from St James's Park of Newcastle United against Barnsley on Sky Sports 2. The programme beginning at 4:30. And incidentally, we'll have extended highlights of the match between these two. Good catch there by the mark. Decent kick forward, Hartson underneath it. Petit's given it away. Berkovic, Sinclair up with him.
Yeah, once again, it was a similar little run from Sinclair. Berkovic spotted him, but just overhit the ball. But that's the type of link-up that we saw when Sinclair scored the goal at Bolton. It was a similar type of run that he made. Here it is. Plays it into Sinclair, but just slightly overhits it. This is the chance. Berkovic into Sinclair. First time ball to Hartson, and now should he have scored? Onto his left foot. Really, if you'd given it a little bit of height, there's no way that Manninger could have made that save.
Anelka, Dixon seeing space opening up. And Anelka in support. Platt in the box, so is Overmars. It wasn't a bad ball, Impey got it away. Lazaridis. This is Sinclair. Hartson. And now Potts for West Ham. Lost Overmars very cleverly. Impey on the right flank. Like a burst between the two defenders, and there was a great shout for obstruction at least there from the West Ham fans. Goal kicked the outcome. Well, I must say, I've got my thoughts very firmly on who's going to win the Man of the Match award tonight, but it's your decision, not mine. And you can make it by calling 0891 11 1101. That's 0891 11 1101.
I think it's a very good chance of being a defender tonight.
Absolutely. Here's Hughes for Arsenal. Dixon. Was a good one, says referee Durkin. Vieira didn't think so. Berkovic. Sinclair. Petit. Excellent skill by the Frenchman. And a good ball for Anelka. Unsworth got across. And the Arsenal fans and players as one appeal penalty. But the referee said no.
Well, it's a great ball from Petit. Unsworth holds him off. Legally, I'm not sure, but certainly does enough. It's effective. Plays it in between Unsworth, the ball, and Pearce. Well, I've seen them given. I've seen penalties given for that.
Certainly had hold of his opponent's shirt, didn't he? Although the referee couldn't have seen that. There's been a change by Arsenal here. Nigel Winterburn, the old campaigner, has replaced the young pretender momentarily for his position, Matthew Upson.
Well, when that incident happened, I quickly looked at the referee, and his view was somewhat obscured. Tried to look in between defenders to see what was happening, couldn't quite see it, so there's no way Mr. Durkin could have given a decision.
Lomas tried to win it back, and Petit took it off him. And a great little run here by Hughes, ended by Steve Potts. Now Sinclair for West Ham. Winterburn's first contribution was an important one, but Berkovic has done brilliantly again. Got to get a free kick, surely he has. Almost mugged there. There was three of them on him.
Well, that's hunting in packs, isn't it? Terrific pressing.
And West Ham waiting for Ian Pearce to get forward. Lines up alongside Hartson. Hartson trying to get the touch there ahead of Keown, and obviously did get the touch because it's a goal kick. But it's 35 matches since West Ham were last involved in a goalless draw. It was all the way back in May, at the end of last season, against Newcastle United. So maybe, although frankly this has looked like a goalless draw all night, maybe there's still a sting in the tail. Lazaridis. Tripped by Vieira. It's been the kind of night when you would think if they're going to get a goal at all, it could come from a set piece like this. Unsworth to take. Too flat. Slides it into Berkovic. Vieira there to bar his way. Now Lazaridis for West Ham. Clearance has not gone far enough to get Arsenal off the hook. Lazaridis with a good-looking cross. Hartson with a back header. He was so unlucky there. He had to literally fight for possession. In fact, he's claiming he was fouled.
Once again, Adams does brilliantly here. Terrific play from Lazaridis. His pace takes him past Platt. He sticks a great ball for the back post. Just watch Adams here. Does everything he possibly can to hold off Hartson. He knows that Hartson coming over the top of him is always going to be the favourite. But that's great defending from Tony Adams. He's on the floor complaining. He knows he's got nothing to complain about. He's done his job for the team. He's prevented Hartson from getting a free header.
And it was Keown who I think actually clattered into his own man there, Petit, and has caused him an injury problem.
Good play this from Lazaridis, and that's a great ball. Manninger's never going to get there. There you see it, he can't get a free header at it.
Two big, strong characters there in a terrific physical battle for the ball. Now Anelka, Overmars dashes into a good position. Anelka going forward with purpose and skill here. Well, I think Lamar is not too impressed by something in front of him, but he's made an important stop.
It was good play from Anelka, not particularly good defending from Impey here, but this is a routine save for Lamar. Bad angle for Anelka, hits it hard. Tries to squeeze it at the near post, but Lamar's got his angles absolutely perfect.
10 minutes to go. And Lamar came for that one, and there's a terrible scramble in front of him. He's on the ground for a second, he's back on his feet, and Arsenal keep possession as Dixon pumps it back in. The clearance by Unsworth.
Good quality delivery, wasn't it, from Overmars on the corner, caused a lot of problems. Lamar wasn't happy.
Lazaridis trying to angle one forward for Hartson. It was Petit back defending. Arsenal's defending has been top rate. No wonder they're so difficult to beat. There's a difficult ball for Lamar. He dealt with it pretty impressively, doesn't he?
He's been unlucky with that pass.
And he's certainly a character.
Outside of the right foot, try to put Impey into an attacking position on that right-hand flank, just slightly overhit it.
And a little reluctant to come from goal, but when he did...
Just keep your eye on Pearce, Alan, at the back there for West Ham. He's limping quite heavily. Physio is very keen to come on to give him treatment.
And they don't have a defender on the bench either. Ian Bishop, a midfield player, Abu, the striker, and Scott Mean, a young man who's also a midfield player, plus the reserve keeper. Petit dropping back again to defend well.
Yes, he's taken up a very good position, Petit, just around the area of Berkovic. Just playing now in front of the back four because Berkovic is looking to push on. And Petit, tactically very, very aware of the situation, has just dropped himself back to play a holding role in front of the back four.
Into Burns, headed clearance. Petit again with an important header away. Here's Vieira. Platt presents it straight to Lazaridis. Berkovic. Clever little ball. Sinclair. Hartson on the far post. Adams with a brilliant headed clearance. Could easily have turned into an embarrassing own goal.
Once again, the link-up between Berkovic and Sinclair. The two of them have really hit it off. Clever little ball from Berkovic. Sinclair just tries to stand it up at the back post to Hartson. Once again, Tony Adams in the right place.
How on earth did that stay out? It flew across the crowd of players. Unsworth throwing himself at the ball. Several others did too. And it missed that far post by a whisker.
Well, let's have a look, see who's nearest to getting a touch to it. And there's nobody at the back post. Nobody attacking, and certainly nobody defending for Arsenal, the back stick. But it was a well-flighted ball from Lampard, swinging inwards, difficult to defend against.
I think you'd say, in all honesty, a draw would be the right result tonight, but I repeat, with the gap over the opposition that Manchester United are enjoying, Arsenal might not be as happy with 1 point as they would normally be, even though this is a notoriously difficult place to come and get anything this season.
Once again, little movement from Arsenal up front. Platt took up a good position at back post, a great header across the goal. None of his teammates responded.
Here's the number to call for man of the match. 0891 111101. It's your vote. Call us now. David Platt's given it away. Lampard. Berkovic. Got a fair few forward in this attack, West Ham, although West Ham find that Arsenal yellow line of defenders hard to breach again. Lampard forcing the corner.
Well, can he deliver the same sort of ball as he did on the previous corner? It was a good forward run from Lampard, tracked down well from Vieira.
Unsworth and Pearce both forward again. Flicked away there, I'm not quite sure who got the touch there. It'll come back in from Potts with it.
I think it was David Platt. Back defending could be his last bit of action because appears if he's going to be substituted.
Yes, he's coming off to be replaced by the 20-year-old Louis Boamorte, the Portuguese player, signed last summer from Sporting Lisbon. He's a flyer, and who knows, in the last 5 minutes, his pace could make a difference.
Certainly did against us early in the season, Alan. Scored 2 goals that helped knock us out of the Coca-Cola Cup.
So into the last 4 minutes. Sinclair turning it forward. Adams gets it away. Lazaridis did brilliantly then. And Vieira caught him. A yellow card for Patrick Vieira. We've waited till the 87th minute for the first caution of the game.
I'm not sure he actually touched him here. Look at that. He's not touched him at all.
Well, I've no doubt the videotape will be winging its way to FA headquarters of that incident, because that caution means that he will be banned for 1 match if it's upheld.
Well, it's the first yellow card of the evening, and unfortunately, it's a bad decision. Quite clearly, there was no contact made.
Simple catch from Manninger, so at least nothing worse than that yellow card befell Arsenal. Arsene Wenger, who's normally the calmest, coolest of characters, looking very animated here in the last 3 minutes.
And I'll tell you what he's complaining about, Alan, because he's given instructions for Boa Morte to play on the left-hand side. And immediately, he comes over here onto the right-hand side. He's out of his seat, trying to get him back to the left, and he's now succeeded.
Boa Morte making a good quick run down the middle. He's found the right place this time. Lamar with a very instinctive save with his feet. And strangely enough, by ignoring the manager's decisions momentarily then, he could have got the winning goal, Boa Morte.
But he didn't ignore him, Alan, because he's made his run from a left-hand position. Just watch the run. It's a brilliant run. Great left-foot control. And this is a tremendous save from Lamar. I mean, they've only been 2 or 3 saves in the match, but this is a brilliant save with his right foot. Certainly keeps West Ham in the game. And what a substitution that would have been for Wenger.
Absolutely. 2 minutes to go. Martin Keown. Touched on then by Hughes. Away by Andy Impey. And suddenly it's Arsenal defending again, and defending as efficiently as they have done all night. Overmars. Lampard looking for Hartson. That's a good ball on for Berkovic. The challenge by Hughes was important there. Just stopped him in his tracks. Now Boa Morte again. Lovely turn of pace again by him. Overmars. Anelka. And here's Vieira. Stephen Hughes. Arsenal coming on strong late on here. Winterburn. Good defending by Unsworth. And a foul given against John Hartson.
Yes, and that's rather careless with just 1 minute left, giving a free kick away against Arsenal. We know what a threat they can be on set pieces.
And then it goes towards Adams. Lamar's made another important contribution. He's done absolutely nothing wrong on his debut for West Ham, that's for sure.
It's a great run, wasn't it, from Adams? Nobody picked him up. He got himself completely free. It was only a good punch from Lamar that thwarted him from a little back header, which probably would have resulted in a goal.
Potts delivers it long. Hartson. Keown intercepts. Anelka. Breaks to Louis Boa Morte again. Well played, Steve Potts. Played Tony Adams at the other end. Stoppage time being played now at Upton Park. Zaridis couldn't quite nick it away from Dixon. Hughes helping it out to the left. Anelka did well. Vieira plays it in dangerously. Pearce's clearance has only gone as far as Petit. Boa Morte. Get it back from Hughes. Time for one last attack, perhaps by West Ham. Sinclair. They managed to take the linesman out of the game as well then. And here's Lomas coming forward. That was hit with the venom of a back pass, really, that.
It's more of an apology, wasn't it, that? I think it was hit, actually, with the outside of his right foot. Didn't get any power at all behind it.
Respond as West Ham come forward again in stoppage time. A strange old ball that was from Lazaridis. Winterburn plays one over the top for the speedy Boa Morte again, and Impey did really well. The inevitable, a draw. And I think that's about right, because neither side really did enough to win this game. Only the second time this season that anyone has gone away with 1 point from Upton Park. and the goalkeepers played their part. Lamar on his debut for West Ham with 3 or 4 excellent stops, and Manninger with the save of the game perhaps in the first half, although maybe that one bettered it in a way. Unorthodox from the Frenchman at the other end, but effective as well to stop Boa Morti, the late substitute, scoring a late winner. Arsenal keep their little run going, only 1 defeat in 16 for them now in League and Cup. They've edged a point closer to Manchester United, and they do, remember, still have 2 games in hand and a visit to Old Trafford to come. Whether 1 point tonight will be enough remains to be seen, but the first priority in this game is not to lose. Excellent defending by both sides. And the final scoreline at Upton Park, West Ham United 0, Arsenal 0.
This might yet turn out to be a very good point for Arsenal. 2 important football dates this weekend to look forward to. Friday at 7 on Sky Sports 2 in the second division. 2 of the promotion chasers, Oldham and Bristol City. And on Sunday this weekend, again on 2 from the FA Cup, the quarter-final between Newcastle United and Barnsley. That's 4:30 on 2. Last chance over the next 2 or 3 minutes to vote for man of the match. 0891 111101 as usual. Goalless then at Upton Park tonight. Reaction from there and Andy's thoughts when we come back.
You've just been erased.
Come and get me. Eraser, tonight, 10:05, Sky Movies, Scream 2.
Marriage. I don't have a problem with marriage. It's a great institution. My only problem is, I'm not quite ready to be put in an institution yet.
David Masterman owns a packaging company worth £6 million. He spent 10 years working for a large multinational before redundancy pushed him to go it alone. Of course, David doesn't know this yet because he's only 5. But when he does, our pensions and investments will be flexible enough to adapt whatever path he chooses. Clerical Medical, the choice of the professional.
Marriage. Marriage isn't a word. It's a sentence.
I do. Drink Beamish Black.
I'm looking for the bloke who's based mental about cars. What do you think of this car suit?
Good lumbar support and beautiful velour coverings.
A bit like your trousers. And what do you look for in a car suit? More room for my friend. Right. Excuse me, sorry, but it looks like we found our base mental bloke. We'll come back when he's finished checking out the ride quality.
The Basement, the new Blokes mag on the telly, weeknights on Bravo.
Bring me victory this day.
Lovely girl first. I might marry it.
Be a bit bossy though, wouldn't it, Frank?
What's them dishes? Put themselves up. Bring me victory this day.
Got to be bossy, George. It's a ginger monarch.
As long as it wasn't bossy over hula hoops.
If first demanded hula hoops revert to knobbly spud shapes, I should say, oi! First! No!
Hula hoops around and they'll be around forever!
Just it, Drake.
Scottish Widows was first set up to look after the widows and orphans of the Napoleonic War. Coming through wars and recessions, today they invest over £23 billion worldwide for the futures of millions of people. By looking after amounts large and small, Scottish Widows is looking good for your money.
Why should you drive the new Shogun? Well, for starters, the high tensile steel body gives a real feeling of security. Thanks to the adjustable suspension, you hardly notice the odd pump in the road. On slippery roads, you can change from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive even at speed. And the multi-mode ABS is one of the most advanced braking systems on the road. So if you'd like to move up to a Shogun, look for this sign.
What does your mum want for Mother's Day?
long-lasting colour that cares. Isn't that what every mother wants for Mother's Day?
With National Lottery Instance TV Dreams, just reveal 3 identical cash symbols to win up to £1,000. Or 3 TV symbols for the chance to play along at home and win up to £50,000. Or 3 stars to come to a spectacular new TV show with the chance to win up to £100,000. If you're game, we are.
For information on your nearest independent financial advisor, call Clerical Medical on 0800 77 90 77.
My name is Jerry Maguire. I'm a sports agent. You could say I'm at the top of my game, but something just isn't right.
Came here to fire you, Jerry. Who's coming with me?
I will go with you.
Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money.
I'm gonna take my one client to go all the way.
Tom Cruise.
I am out here for you.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
You are hanging on by a very thin thread.
Jerry Maguire starts Wednesday on Sky Box Office 2.
No goals at Upton Park tonight. West Ham 0, Arsenal 0. 9 attempts from the Hammers, on target with 4. 7 from Arsenal, hit the target with 4. We got to the 87th minute before we had a booking. Patrick Vieira, and when we saw it again, it looked harsh, Andy, didn't it?
It did. I think that Alan was right. I think that videotape might be winging its way to Arsenal.
It's an important one for the Gunners. Yeah, that's West Ham's first goalless draw in 36 games, 2 years. And we caught it tonight. 25,500, just over 25.5 in. West Ham the more of the ball second half. Now, the man of the match, Alan Parry, said he had his own thoughts. I wonder if this coincides with his.
Well, the only surprise is he didn't tell us.
Martin Keown with 58%. And here he is with George Gavin.
John, was that a case of nothing asked or given?
Yeah, that's right. It's always going to be hard playing against the likes of Martin and Tony. You know, they're 2 great defenders. You never get a lot of change out of them, and we're a bit disappointed because it's our home game, and you know we need the points really if you're going to push for a European place. But we knew it was going to be hard, so Sunday's game I think it'll be a bit different.
Yeah, it's a point won for you, Martin. But in terms of the title race, is it 2 points lost?
Well, I think so. Manchester United, you know, they've got a good lead. We needed to win, and we give it our best shot. West Ham put up a good resistance tonight, and you know, I think at the end of the day we're happy with a point.
The injury hinder you at all?
No, not at all. It just whetted my appetite for it. I always enjoy a battle with John, and there's none better.
And it was very much a battle, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, it was. As I said, you know, it's never going to be easy. And Tony's in there as well. They're 2, you know, world-class defenders. So at the end of the day, then we've took the point, so we've just got to be happy with that now.
And the 2 goalkeepers, Martin, both neither first choice for their clubs. Outstanding, weren't they?
I was very impressed with their goalkeeper. He's obviously got international experience, and he showed that experience tonight. He was comfortable, he had a good touch as well, and pulled off a great save at the end.
And your keeper wasn't bad either?
No, I mean, Alex pushed one round the post. It's a great save from him, and you know, he's progressing in the right way, and long may it continue, really.
Is this the indication we can have of Sunday's match?
Well, we'll have to see. You know, we could have a different team out. Obviously, they're going to have a different side. It's at our place, and we've got to make the home advantage count.
And you sign off now, don't you, John? Can they do it without you?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Obviously, I'm disappointed with the sending off, and I've got to suffer now. I've got a 3-game ban, but at the end of the day, we've got to go there, and we got to be brave. And you know, not many teams go to Highbury and get results, but you know, we've got to look to get him back here in a replay, or obviously win there, but it's going to be hard.
Well, Martin's the calling man in the match, John. If you can give that to him, well played, both of you. Thanks very much.
Dean Ward from Essex wins the replica jersey. Just to add insult to injury, I'll bet he's a West Ham fan. Dean from Essex. So what did you make of it then?
I thought it would be a draw. I said it. I think that it was tough to call between these two. It wasn't a great football match. I think one has to be honest. It never flowed. The passing wasn't up to the usual standard that we expect from these two. It wasn't a typical West Ham home performance. But I think you have to give credit to Arsenal for that. They spoiled it. They came and they put the 4 defenders, the 3 in front of them. and had to change it a little bit. I wasn't surprised to see Arsenal have as little in an attacking sense, Richard. I don't think they were entirely comfortable with the setup they went out with. And it's hard to cope with losing Wright and Bergkamp. It must be a terrible blow for them at this time not to have them.
We shouldn't forget that they are behind what Everton have got a draw there, and Newcastle have won.
Yeah.
The only team to come away with anything from Upton Park this year.
A point away from home, I've always said it, no matter where you go in this league, is not bad. But in context from what Arsenal need if they're going to win the title, it's not what was required.
But Arsene Wenger surely would have looked at what he's got left and worked out where he can win and where he'd take a point. This is a night for a point, isn't it?
Well, is it or not? I mean, when you look at the 3 away games that were mentioned that they've got to go to Old Trafford, they've got to go to Anfield, and they've got to go to Ewood Park. Now, those are 3 mighty, mighty big away fixtures that are facing Arsenal in the coming months. Now, I think that maybe tonight was one of those, although they've got a superb record at home, West Ham, Arsenal enjoy playing against them. We've talked about how long it's been since they've actually lost against West Ham. And so I think all these things come into it. And I think that tonight was one he would have earmarked, hopefully, for 3 points rather than 1. But I have to say, that's not a criticism of getting a point here. Because, as you say, very few teams have gone there and picked up a point.
There were chances, more second half. This was one. Another great start.
That was it. John would be a little disappointed with that. I mean, I thought he'd score. I think he just scuffs his shot. He does everything right here. He just nicks it away, gets it out his feet, and then just scuffs it a little. He gets it anywhere in the air, and he scores. So, but it was a second half. We thought it would open up, but he's got to stretch a little bit.
A few calls in here when we saw
There was calls. We'll look at this one later. I think from where the referee is, I mean, if the referee's watching this picture, and he's not, then he might give a penalty. Hands on the shirt, drags him down, but he doesn't see that angle. He doesn't see that angle. And I thought Keown was magnificent tonight as well. I have to agree with that decision as man of the match. I thought he defended great. I mean, they showed 3 out of 4. Nigel Winterburn come on again, but have showed why Arsene Wenger continually picks him, Richard, because of the defensive qualities and the way they make life so difficult for him. And then what?
Well, he just had a rollicking from his manager.
Yeah, get left. Arsene Wenger says, and I tell you what, it was a great ball, a great run. He's a little unlucky, you know, that his pace took him ahead of the ball when he controlled it. And watch here. Now, if it's controlled in front of him, he might score. But you see how he had to check, and he really just scuffed it a little. But I mean, I couldn't separate
Hard
it tonight.
match, wasn't it? Hard graft.
Well, you couldn't say either team did enough to win the game. I think 1 point each. I don't think anyone could complain about that.
So, no change at the bottom. Barnsley, Bolton Palace below the drop zone line. And I suppose the only significant movement this weekend in the bottom there. Barnsley up 2 places, the first time in 3 months away from the bottom. Spurs won yesterday to put some daylight between themselves and the 3 below the line. But it's at the top we've been talking tonight. Now then, let's have a look. Derby 45, Chelsea with 45, Liverpool 47, Blackburn 48, with Arsenal now, who still have 2 games in hand on Manchester United. But I can tell you as we speak, the bookies have now closed the betting on Manchester United, and there is one bookie in Manchester, we hear, even paying out now on Manchester United. Arsene Wenger joins us, the Arsenal manager. Evening, Arsene.
Good evening.
What do you make of that, then, that the bookies have closed the betting and some are paying out? Is it United's title?
I think it's not over and things change quickly, and from one weekend to the other one, of course, it can change, but they are in a very good, very comfortable position now, psychologically, and they can concentrate on the European Champions League.
It would have to change a lot now, wouldn't it, for them to lose it?
Yeah, but there are still many games to go. I think it can change in 2 weeks, but they go play now against Monaco. They have difficult games as well. But if the other teams don't win, of course, they can wait and just concentrate on the European Cup. In games like tonight, if we had taken 3 points, we would have been much bigger threat. But we have many away games, and we need to win some away games to have a chance.
Arsene, what was the game plan tonight without Wright, without Bergkamp available to you? What was your game plan that you set your players out with?
We said that, you see, I thought we were good. We had to be good on breaks tonight and be very solid at the back. And I thought if we were tied for an hour, we would find some space. But the game never opened, and I must say none of the teams deserved to win it tonight. We could have won it at the end, and West Ham could have won it at the end. But I had the feeling, of course, that we were solid, but we didn't do enough offensively. And in fairness, I would say I had the feeling on the bench that we never could.
I always say that a point in the Premiership away from home, Arsene, is a good point. Would you agree with that tonight? Are you considering this as 2 points lost when you look at the away games you have in front of you?
It's not a bad point if you think of the game of tonight, but if you want to fight for the championship, it's not enough. If you see things for the second place, it's a good point, I would say.
Arsene, I came into the night and put the point to Andy that your playing record now is exactly the same as it was a year ago when you didn't go on to win the title. What did you learn from that campaign that you could put to good use this time?
You see, we had compared to last year, I think we had a very bad period in November, and for the rest of the year we were very consistent. But I think we didn't win enough games away. Our record at home is not too bad, but we are the only team who lost only 4 games, but we didn't pick enough points away. And that's why I think last year we were much stronger away and did win more games away. And I think we can still, if we can make the change and pick some wins away, we can still fight for the championship.
12 months later, Arsene, do you think that you as a club are closer, are closing the gap between you and Manchester United?
It's difficult to say because I think we have more young players who can fight at the top, what we had not last season. But Man United, you see the problem of Man United here, their players are very young and have all already 5 or 6 years experience. So when you think at their midfield, like Bad Giggs, Beckham, they are 23, 24, and have 5 or 6 years European experience, they will not go down, they will always improve. So it's not only to close the gap, if it is as well to improve as quickly as they do.
And still, are you looking to bring new players in, always to improve?
Yes, of course, but we have, I think, a good solid basis defensively, but tonight offensively we are not strong enough.
Just a word about the job that faces them this week, Arsene, against Monaco. What sort of task is that for Manchester United in the Champions Cup?
I would say much more difficult than everybody thinks in England. I would say if they lose the game at Monaco, it will be very difficult for them to go through because it's a team who is very strong on counter-attacking. They are very quick up front, and it's a very physical team. It's not like you used to think in England, typical technical French team. They are very solid physically and very quick on the break. So I think it will be a very hard game for Man United.
But you would want to see them win, Arsene, wouldn't you, to keep them occupied for the rest of the season?
Yes, but you see, our most important thing is first to win our games, and that's why we concentrate only on our way to play. I think if we don't win our games, even if Man United has European worries, we cannot fight against them.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Pleasure to talk to you. Thank you, Arsene Wenger. And just to repeat what we were saying going into that interview, the book is closed on Manchester United winning the title now. And in Manchester, there is a bookie paying out now. And this is the odds on second place. That's what we're talking about. That's what the bookies are talking about now. Arsenal 5-4, Blackburn 3-1 with Liverpool, 4-1 Chelsea, 20-1 Derby County. And that's a real compliment to Derby, isn't it? Who sit there sixth and have had a great season.
Sensational. It's great. Jim Smith has done a remarkable job, Richard. That's going to be a battle. I mean, I do think, and I think even listening to Arsene Wenger there, the tone of his voice, I think, is suggesting that, you know, man, he won't admit it. He can't admit it, as I said earlier. But I think privately, he would be saying that the title's over. But that race there, I mean, the closeness of the betting there just shows what a race that's going to be. That is one race that could go right to the last day of the season.
Goalless tonight at Upton Park. We'll get more reaction from there when we come back. And also look back on some of the talking points tonight. 3 tremendous saves in particular.
The man who murdered my daughter is free.
A horrifying glimpse into the dark soul of a psychopath.
I don't even remember what she looked like.
The distress of a mother.
I need you to help me.
Who will never see her daughter again.
You think you're capable of going through with it?
He's gonna do it again!
Imagine what she would do for revenge.
You get caught.
Oscar winner Sally Field.
I can't let him go.
Kiefer Sutherland.
You're pretty.
Eye for an Eye premieres Saturday at 10. Sky Movies Screen 2.
Where's my 406?
What's a 406?
Peugeot, the drive of your life.
Morning.
Morning, Dad.
Oh, yeah, I must sort out that loan. But I can't get to the bank.
Hello! There's a more convenient way to get an unsecured personal loan. Call Lombard Direct, free on 0800 215,000. 24 hours a day. We have loans from £800 to £15,000 for almost anything, and our rates are low. One call to Lombard Direct, and you're laughing. To arrange a loan or for more information, call now, free on 0800 215,000.
Rich bouquet? Bright, strong color. Full-bodied.
I said on it too.
Kronenbourg 1664, the best-loved premium beer in France.
Five to 4 Arsenal, 3-1 Blackburn and Liverpool, 4-1 Chelsea, 20-1 Derby in the chase for second place. And that really, do you think, is what we've got to concentrate on between now and the end?
Yeah, I don't think it's if Manchester United win the title, Richard. I think it's when.
I mean, when was it ever won at this stage of a season?
Oh, I don't remember. I mean, it must be some time ago. I can't, certainly in the time I've been down in England, well over 20 years.
And how would they react to all this at Old Trafford? Talk of it being done.
Well, then Alex Ferguson is not the kind of man who's going to allow his players to believe it's all over now. But I think if he's prioritised his season, his priority was the European Champions League. I think it was number 1 to win the European Cup, number 2 to win the Premiership, number 3 to win the FA Cup, and number 4 get some practice in the Coca-Cola Cup. So I think, and if you take that in his list of priorities, he's obviously still got European Cup at stake. Now, if he's almost won the Premiership now, he can concentrate an awful lot on getting it right in Europe, and I think that's what he'll do.
Harry Redknapp's joining us. We've said just everything we can about the game, Harry. What did you get for your birthday?
Well, I wanted 3 points, Richard, but didn't quite get that tonight.
It never looked like it, in truth, did it?
No, it looked like, you know, it was a tough game. The pitch was bobbly, didn't make for good football, to be fair. It was a difficult pitch to pass the ball on. And they're a tough side to beat, aren't they? Adams and Keown, 2 tremendous defenders. They make it hard for you.
So what did you make of them? We've just been sitting here talking about the title. There's a bookie in Manchester paying out on Manchester United, Harry. They've closed the book on them. Is it all about second place now? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? I mean, unless Man United have a massive hiccup, and you can't see that happening now, that you'd have to fancy them strongly. I mean, I think the teams are fighting for second place.
What about you, Harry? What are you fighting for now?
We're fighting to finish in the top 6, Andy. That's been our ambition, and you know, we're still bang there. We've still got every chance of doing that. We've got a lot of home games to come still, so that's what we're looking to do.
Last time we spoke, I asked you why you were so good at home and had been so poor away. Have you solved it yet?
Oh yeah. If you look at the results, Andy, we have recent. I mean, we haven't been since Christmas. We've won at Wimbledon, won at Man City, won at Blackburn, drew at Bolton. Now we've been in tremendous form away from home recently.
Has the season gone as well or better than you expected, Harry?
It's gone as well. It may be a bit better than I expected. You know, I felt last year when I bought a couple of new players in Hearts and Kits and Lomas that was a turning point for the club, and we improved on that this year. We've added another 3 or 4 good players to that group, and it's the strongest we've been here for a long time.
Well, striding for Europe, as you say, Harry, it must be a blow then for the next 3 games without John Hartson.
Yeah, we miss John, but we're short. I mean, Trevor Sinclair's he's cup tied as well on Sunday, so we'll miss him Sunday. But I've got a Boo to come into the side. I couldn't risk him tonight because I've got no front men on my staff, so I decided to leave him out tonight and just rest him.
What do you, I mean, game tonight against Arsenal, tough game as well. Play them again on Sunday. How do pros react to that when back-to-back the same opposition like that?
Well, it's never easy, obviously, but you know, we know it's going to be a tough game on Sunday. We maybe go there, and, you know, we can have different personnel. We're going to lose 1 or 2, so we'll play a bit differently on Sunday. We've got to go there and I'll settle for another 0-0 draw, to be fair with Richard, and bring them back here for another replay.
I was going to say, Harry, as part of your job as you as a manager going in against Arsenal, trying to convince your players mentally you can win. Your record recently isn't good against them, is it? No,
as I say, they're a very strong outfit, and the last couple of years they've had the beating of us, but we're looking forward to Sunday, Andy. I'm sure they felt they were going to be playing Blackburn the next round after Blackburn took us back home to Ewood Park. We got a great result there, so we believe we can do the same thing Sunday.
You're good with the penalty shootout as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. But let's hope we can finish it on Sunday.
Listen,
would be nice.
Let's just use your knowledge here, Harry, if we may. Arsenal 5-4 for second place, 3-1 Blackburn and Liverpool, 4-1 Chelsea, 20-1 Derby. Where would your money go?
I suppose really, I think it'd have to go probably with Arsenal, even though they're the shortest at 5-4. Chelsea have got plenty of home games left, but not playing quite as well the last couple of games, and Liverpool got a few injuries and one thing and another. So I think I'd look at Arsenal at the moment. I hope it's Liverpool, but I think it might be Arsenal.
Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the birthday.
Okay,
Happy birthday, Harry.
Cheers, Andy.
Cheers,
Bye.
Harry. So, I mean, we're talking about it as though it is over. I mean, not yet.
No,
there's a bit in it.
There's the old saying, Richard, mathematically it's not over. Yes, there is a bit of work to be done, but I honestly cannot, and I don't think anyone in the game can see Manchester United dropping as many points as they need to drop. And not only that, I think when you look at the run-in, particularly Arsenal, as we've mentioned it, away at Old Trafford, away at Anfield, away at Ewood Park, it's going to take some unbelievable effort for them to win all their games. And then still expect Manchester United to drop something like they would need to drop now in the last 10 games, something like 10 points. It seems inconceivable.
Right, one of the reasons it was goalless tonight, two very good goalkeeping performances. Alex Meninga, first and second half.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot, to admire, and as both managers have admitted in the offensive side, Arsene Wenger disappointed with his team. Little things. I mean, it's funny when you get different managers, different teams do different things. Often when you get a situation like that, Richard, certainly if I was coaching or when I was coaching, I would have always sent the guy wide. I would have said to my defender, you send him that way, you keep him.
Why? Why? I'm sure people sitting at home thinking, but he's going to cross from there and cause trouble.
Well, yeah, but I think if you send him here, you have one thing to deal with, and that's a cross. Right. That's all. That's all. The problem you have, I think, when you send him inside like this, is that he can come in, and if he drives in far enough, Richard, he has options. Shooting. He can. If somebody makes a little run, diagonal run, he can slide him in. I mean, this is all in context if the play moves over. He can set someone up, as he's done. You have more options to deal with, I think, when a player is sent inside.
But teams do still send them inside.
Yeah, it's coaches and teams' preferences, but I would always have sent them wide, because then your goalkeeper and your centre-backs know you've got one thing to deal with, and that's the cross. Because as you send him, if he comes inside like that, that's just an option, one of them, hitting it from there. And that's more difficult to deal with, I think, than a cross. And he pulls off a quite magnificent save. Absolutely top class.
It is a great stop, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we've talked about strikers winning things and how important they are. I mean, one of the first managers, I think, to realise the importance of a goalkeeper was Brian Clough many years ago when he bought Shilton. Yeah. And he said, he'll win me the title. Not his forwards, he'll win me the title. And he was right. And I think more and more managers are realising that is a match-winning save.
What about the second half?
Well, let's have a look at that. I think he's a little bit more fortunate in this one. So good. This again is good running. It's all about the combination we talked about. Here Berkovic drops off the front as well, as he does. We've highlighted Sinclair. Now look at his movement. That's a lovely run. Little diagonal run across. Beautiful ball fed in. That's a perfect link-up to put him in there with the ball at his feet. They get a little bit of luck here, but I think from now, John Hartson does well. 1, 2, now he's set. Now, 19 times out of 20, I think John would just tuck that away quite comfortably. But he doesn't quite hit it. Maybe Martin Keown just gets a little bit on it, Richard. He doesn't quite hit it.
It's a great recovery from the keeper for all that, isn't it?
It's a fantastic recovery. You watch him, though. All he can go is low. Watch him. He's on the ground. He's diving low. It's a fantastic save. I'm taking nothing away with the guy. It's a great save. But I think John, looking at that, will think, if I'd only hit it harder or higher, I would surely have scored.
Arsenal nearly stole it, but Morta very late on. Bernard Lama with a save, where on the scale?
It's a decent save. It's unorthodox, but it's very, very effective. It's one of those saves where he uses his legs and people think, oh, he was lucky. But that's what a goalkeeper must use. Every single part of his body is good enough to make a save, then use it. It's a super run. The free kick's a good one in. He reacts very quickly, Petit. He starts to run across. It's a lovely run. He's not offside, you can see that. Those four are all in line, but I think David Unsworth is a little bit deeper than normal, but it's a lovely... And this is where he's a little unlucky. You know, if he controls that, Richard, and it bounces here, and then runs ahead of him a little bit, he's got a great chance of hitting it. But he has to check. See, he's now got to check, put the brakes on. It makes it a more difficult chance. Goalkeeper spreads himself. He makes a pretty good save there. Lovely ball, looks up. So that's why he's a little unlucky.
He played well too, didn't he, Petit?
I thought Petit played well. I think he's a good player. I think he's a decent player. I really do. I think he's one of the better signings. One of the better signings that Arsene Wenger's made.
And was there a penalty in that?
I mean, it's hard. I think if you see it from this angle that we're showing it here, they're running in. David Unsworth from behind. And remember, the referee's looking from this side here. I think it's impossible for him to give a penalty. I mean, I think when you look at it like that, it looks to me from there, Unsworth's got his body in the way. He's being strong. He's leaning into him a little bit. But, yeah, I think as a defender, you would expect that to happen.
So as a defender, he knew exactly what he was doing,
yes.
Did he?
Yes, and it happened. And I think he gets his arm across and he thinks, you're not going away. Now, if he looks at that and he sees it from that angle, he's not going to see it from that angle. So I think the referee...
But from there, that's a penalty, isn't it? I know one Scottish international centre-forward that would have been up in arms.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying there wasn't any contact, or he wasn't pulling his shirt. All I'm saying is it's impossible for the referee to have given a penalty in that situation. Impossible.
Okay. All right, let's have a look at the table one more time after the weekend. Important weekend as well. Might look back on this and say that's when United won it. Barnsley will look back on it and say, well, we got a great lift out of that. They got themselves off the bottom. Then Tottenham went and put some daylight between themselves and the bottom three, but they've all got a game in hand, and there's a lot to play for down there, isn't there?
Oh, there is. I mean, it'll be interesting. The bottom three there, Richard, they've all got games away from home, I think, next time out in the league. That's going to be a big test for them.
Same three that came up, and at the moment, could go back.
They certainly could. As I say, I think Crystal Palace and Bolton have got huge problems because they're not playing well. They're not getting results. They can't get a win, but they can't buy a win. But Barnsley, on the other hand, have settled into some type of form. They're starting to get the rub of the green. A little bit of luck, a little bit of good fortune going their way when you need it in a game. And they'll be the one that, I think Barnsley are the team that worry Tottenham, Everton, Wimbledon, you know, I guess Villa.
Well, yeah, Villa. Maybe Wednesday right now, and Newcastle.
Maybe.
One win and Southampton are out of it, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say 40 points.
In the league, there they sit at 10th, just behind Leeds. West Ham up 2 tonight with that point to join Leicester on 40. Derby County 6th on 45 with Chelsea, who a fortnight back we were talking about. Themselves and Arsenal. You will be delighted to hear, my friend, we are very nearly there.
Ah, there we go. It's been a long weekend, sir.
It's been a long half hour. Let's have a look what we've got coming up over the weekend. This coming weekend, 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 2, Oldham against Bristol City. Two teams pushing hard in Division 2 right now. That's 7 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. Saturday at 5:30 with an FA Cup quarter-final special. Highlights of the game between Leeds United and Wolves, again on 2. And our live quarter-final this weekend takes us to St James's Park. Barnsley, conquerors of Manchester United, go in against Newcastle United. 4:30 start, Sky Sports 2, and that programme, as you can see, will also include the draw for the semi-finals of the FA Cup. No joy tonight.
for dominance, a battle of the hemispheres. England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales face the challenge of Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. The pride of the British Isles against the might of the Southern Hemisphere. Follow the 4 home nations on their tour.